windswept Deutsch Perry Stadium in Bowling Green, Ohio. At least a share of first place in the MAC East Division on the line as the Buffalo Bulls come into town to take on the Bowling Green Falcons on a homecoming Saturday. Hello everyone, Greg Franke along with Coach Tom Cole for this matchup here today. Bowling Green is notorious for having one of the very fastest offenses in the country, but Buffalo at least has seen that kind of play before.
Well, against Baylor, they lined up, and they're one of the initiators of that kind of offense. And Buffalo scored 21 points on Baylor, and they hadn't given up a touchdown all year. So Buffalo's going to be familiar with Falcon Fast.
And Buffalo can move the ball in their own right very, very well. As a matter of fact, they have not had a game this year where they've had total offense of less than 394 yards. And last week against Miami, 575, the second most that they've ever gotten in their big school history.
Well, they got a great quarterback, Joe Nakata, 14 touchdowns, over 1,400 yards, completing 66% of his passes, and a running back that's sensational. Anthony Taylor, he can run strong in between the tackles, 4.7 yards a carry, and can be effective out on the edge.
Anthony Taylor actually had the biggest game of any running back in the nation last week against Miami, 222 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he is certainly somebody that Bowling Green is going to have to be very aware of. On the other hand, Bowling Green's offense, a lot of fireworks too. 443 yards passing by James Kanapke, 4th most in program history, in a wild win for the Falcons over the UMass Minutemen last week.
Well, it's Star Wars in pads. They're putting up numbers that are unearthly. It's incredibly fast. You know, they can put 115 plays on the board. Every 17 seconds, they're running a play. If you blink, you're going to miss some plays. It's Falcon Fast, and it's exciting.
As you see from these highlights, though, Bowling Green gave up a lot of yardage and a lot of points to the Minutemen. Ironically, it was a late forced fumble and recovery for Bowling Green that allowed them to hold on to beat the Minutemen. However, the Falcons, under Coach Dino Babers, a couple of trends have been very clear. One, they can score points in droves. Also, though, they've been allowing a lot of points.
Well, the kryptonite to playing fast for Falcon Fast is time of possession. Oh, by the way, Buffalo leads the MAC in time of possession with their offense. So you're going to see a paradigm here of fast offense versus possession offense.
Quite a contrast we'll be seeing between these two teams here today. Now for more, let's go down to the sidelines to the third member of our broadcast team, Kate Longenecker.
Thanks, Greg. Down here, guys, it is very brisk. It's about 46 degrees, but with the wind chill, it's actually about 38. I got to tell you, too, it's very windy down here, about 20 miles per hour. There was actually sleet earlier. We'll see how it affects the passing game of both of these offenses today.
All right, thank you very much. I'll tell you, it's so cold down here. I feel guilty having this window closed up here. I really do.
Don't. It's fine.
Here's a look at the all-time series. Bowling Green leading 8-3. They've won the last 3 games at Perry Stadium, but the Buffalo people here say they still remember the game Buffalo won here in 08, which gave them their first MAC East title when they were down 20 points in the 4th quarter and came back and won it.
This is going to be a sensational college football game today, Greg, and I'm thoroughly excited about it. Buffalo's got a great offensive line, a great quarterback, great running back, and Bowling Green, you know, it's Star Wars in pads. We talked about it. They put up points so quickly. It's going to be wonderful for people to watch this Falcon Fast.
Looking at these two teams, and we touched on it in the open, but the contrast between the fast Falcon offenses, you see they're getting psyched up for the task before them right now. But if Buffalo is successful in controlling the ball through their power running game, that's going to keep that Falcon defense on the field a long time. And even if Bowling Green comes back and scores quickly, the defense is right back out there again. So that is a little bit of an issue for the Falcons.
Well, if you're Jeff Quinn, the Buffalo coach, you're thinking this: hey, I know how quick they are, and I know what kind of offense they run, and I know how good their quarterback is. So what am I going to do? You're getting a good look at Jeff Quinn there. He's a smart guy. He said, well, I'll keep them on the bench. They can't be Falcon Fast on the bench. And that means we'll possess the football, we'll run it, we'll control it. Buffalo leads the MAC in possession time of the football on offense, so that's what they're going to try to do.
That record for Jeff Quinn, 20-34, very deceiving because they were not in a good situation when he took over the reins. They improved steadily each year, much as Bowling Green did under Dave Clawson. Last year, Buffalo was 8-5. They made the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, and that's where Bowling Green was right before they won the MAC championship. Dino Babers, 3-2 in his first season after 2 years in a row at Eastern Illinois, being Coach of the Year at the championship subdivision level. Buffalo receiving the opening kickoff, and the ball is dropped momentarily and then just covered by Devin Campbell, and a touchback Joe Licata for Buffalo, 14 touchdown passes. That is 5th in the nation. He is having an excellent year, and he only has thrown 4 interceptions. He's been extremely efficient.
Well, his passing efficiency rating is 154, which is incredible. He's 6'2", 220, very solid leader, can make all the throws. Tough guy, super quarterback.
See that, 66.1%. He was one of the greatest quarterbacks out of Western New York in the Buffalo area in high school prior to coming to the Bulls program. 1st and 10 from the 25 after the touchback. Hand off, and immediately it goes to Anthony Taylor, and he got bumped just as he was turning the corner by Brian Sutton. He still picked up about 4 yards on that first play from scrimmage.
Well, AT ran a little zone stretch to the right, and they're going to try to use that offensive line, which is one of the best in the MAC for Buffalo.
Absolutely. That's one of the reasons Taylor has been so effective, is that experienced big offensive line have been opening up holes for him. They've got a very deep and talented receiving core. Ron Willoughby from Avon Lake, Ohio, is the #1 receiver on their squad this year so far. Turning the right sideline and getting up to about the 34-yard line, Jacob Martinez, who had a great game last week with 8 receptions. Flag is down, officials conferring. Appeared they stopped him about a yard short of the first down marker, but it's going to come back.
Offside. Defense. Number 63. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
So that negates what would have given them a 3rd and very short situation. The Falcon defense, even though they have been allowing a lot of points and yards, and a lot of familiar faces on what was a dominant Falcon defensive team last year. Gabe Martin is back from an injury. That's really going to help them out. So the Falcons have got guys that can play because they've proven it in the past.
Well, the flip side of Falcon Fast is the defense takes more snaps than anybody else in the MAC, and they've got some injuries and some young kids.
Clear pass off to the right, and that was completed, but for a very small profit, as Devin Hughes was pushed out of bounds by Gabe Martin, who is back after missing early portion of the season, and he missed most of the last portion of last season. They really need him out there, an all-MAC player. He was 2nd-team all-MAC, even though he missed the last 6 games last year, Martin Hughes. He's the 2nd passing option for Buffalo after Jeff Willoughby.
Well, the key is going to be, can the Falcon defense hold up against this Buffalo extraordinary offensive line? That's really going to be a key matchup here.
Here's a look at the great game that Buffalo had against Miami last week with the 575 yards, and they've been very consistent with it.
As the runner is short of the 1st down, 3rd down.
Measurement came up just short, as you heard, and it will be 3rd and 1. They're going to have to move the chains. They'd already moved the chains. They have to move them back. So they're in the exact situation they were in before the penalty after the 2nd play from scrimmage, 3rd and less than a yard. Buffalo pretty efficient on 3rd downs. Second man through with the ball, and Taylor twists his way out to the 40-yard line, and he has got the 1st down with plenty to spare before he was stopped on the play.
Well, that's old-fashioned football. They had double tights and a split, and they just ran a tray to the right, which means a truck and run. They bring 2 of the big linemen that are trucks out in front of AT, Anthony Taylor, and they picked it up. Good physical football.
Bernard Turner on the stop, who just won a scholarship in fall practice. He's gotten a lot of action with Rylan Ward's injury early in the season. Although Ward has returned here today. Here it goes to Taylor again, off left tackle, and he shows some power as he got out to the 47-yard line before he was finally stopped by Darrell Hunter.
Well, Anthony Taylor's averaging 115 yards per game. What is unique about him, Greg, is he can run inside between the tackles with a power game and still run the zone stretch on the outside, so he's a multi-purpose back.
Got the 222 yards against Miami last week, 116 the week before that, but he's piled up there right at the line of scrimmage. And it's going to be 3rd down and much longer yardage situation facing Buffalo. Corey Madlock, a player from Buffalo. A couple of Falcons from the local area in on that stop, along with Gabe Martin, number 11 there.
Well, Gabe's a player. Falcons shut that down. They squeezed that play and shut it down.
3rd and 3. Some premature movement. No flags, however. Kata looking to the sideline for instructions. Long count. Out of the gun, passing downfield, complete. And that will be enough for the first down yardage, as Marcus McGill, one of a raft of good Buffalo receivers, was finally wrapped up by Brian Sutton, but not before they crossed midfield and gained the first down.
Good throw by Licata. It's just a chain hitch. The receiver goes down to the first 1 yard past the first down marker, turns his quick shoulder outside. Licata put the ball on him.
Look at that. 11 different receivers that he has thrown to this year, including 4 that are really prime targets. Taylor, and he grinds out a yard on first down. This looks a lot like old-fashioned football here.
Well, it's winning football for Buffalo, and again, it's especially important football for Buffalo when you know what the Bowling Green Falcons can do with their offense. So where's the Bowling Green offense? They're on the sideline, and you know, Falcon Fast is on the bench because Buffalo is controlling it, and that's what they do so well. Run, pass, slug it out, use the big offensive line.
And the flip side of that coin is the defense is out for a long
taking a lot of snaps again, yes.
Both of those things very important for Buffalo here. Play action under pressure. Licata got it out, though, complete. And McGill turns it upfield and reaches the 32-yard line before he is grounded on the play by James Sanford, number 35 for the Falcons. And of course, that fumble that helped to put the Minutemen UMass game away last week.
Great play action fake by Licata. Got good time from his offensive line. One of his big beef eaters up front was actually holding a Falcon, and the Stripers missed that. But this is how Licata is such a good quarterback. He did a check down. He was looking deep, Greg. It wasn't there, and he went to his check down for the completion.
Marcus McGill there. He actually was the team's long snapper last season. First player in his high school team's history to name twice Greater Rochester, also from Western New York. Once again, they get big yardage as they go off left tackle. Again, close to the first down marker, as Taylor again bearing the mail for Buffalo early in this game.
Well, AT's running an outside zone stretch, and the view we get up here, look at the beauty of the offensive line coming off for Buffalo. Everybody's got a hat on somebody. They create a running seam, and it's just how you run the stretch.
Replaced the top rusher in Buffalo history in Bo Oliver, but actually Taylor is 100 yards ahead of Oliver's single-season record pace on the ground this season. Snap, they flare it out to Martinez, outflanked one defender, then got catapulted in the air by Sutton and finally landed on the 18-yard line.
Well, they ran a little quick screen to the right side here. You watch this, boom, get it out there. 2 blockers out there blocking, good job. Great move. You make somebody miss. But what you notice on the quick screen, great camera shot, guys, is the ball's being affected by the wind. You know, the ball was wobbling a little bit, and Licata can really throw it. So that wind is going to be an issue for the passers today.
Martinez, 8 catches, 94 yards against the Miami Redhawks last week. And career best game for him. Fake handoff to Taylor, under pressure, Licata threw it right before being hit, completed down to the 6-yard line as he spied his receiver, Devin Hughes, open downfield just before he was hit.
Well, great job by Licata. Watch this. He takes a hit, slides to his left, finds a man on a dig pattern coming all the way across the field and puts it right on the numbers.
Just before Denard Turner could arrive to make the stop. 1st and goal from the 6. Buffalo has moved relentlessly from their own 25 after the touchback to start the game.
Well, it's the offensive line. They've done a terrific job. They're protecting Licata. They're handling the run game and protecting their quarterback.
The offensive line came in with a big reputation, and they're living up to it as Taylor grinds down to the 2-yard line. They've really been gaining good chunks of yardage with an occasional pass downfield on almost every play of this drive. Remarkable consistency.
What makes, number one, Anthony Taylor such a good back, you get a good look at that offensive line by Buffalo, there's AT right there, is as a one-back in a one-back set, he can run inside with power like a fullback, or he can take it to the outside zone edge like a scat back. So you've got 2 in 1. You've got a multi-purpose back that can do both things.
80% red zone conversion. You're going to win a lot of football games with that. 2nd and goal from the 3. And somebody definitely jumped there.
Well, Joe Licata gave him a hard count, and it looked like the Falcons jumped. He did a nice job. He even got away with a little head bob there.
That'll be half the distance to the goal line, which really won't amount to much as far as movement of the football.
Offside. Defensive lineman in the neutral zone. Caused the offensive lineman to false start. Half the distance, 2nd down.
Yeah, that's a pretty good description. When they jump and hit the offensive line, that'll cause them to false start.
Well, Striper's actually saying he lined up offsides, but also Licata did head count him off. You know, you can give a little body language. It's an inflection in the count. You know, you do the staccato, hut, and you pull them off, and Licata did a good job with that.
The Licata, staccato, hut.
Yeah, there you go.
Saw the ball on the 1 yard line. Taylor tried to power it in. He made a good move there, but he still couldn't get in as the Falcons deny him the goal line. Several players, including Hunter, stepping up to make the stop.
Well, this little inside zone, and credit the Falcons. They close it down. They squeeze the play. Good job stopping Anthony Taylor.
All Sen running the football as well. 3 or 4 orange jerseys were right there.
You know, for a defense that's been maligned like the Falcons have, this would be incredible for them if they could get a bit of a goal line stop here. It would buoy the defense up a little bit.
Be a huge one if they could come up with it. 3rd down and goal from the 1. Taylor again. Again he's stacked up. This is going to hurt his rushing average. Now they're saying that with his 2nd effort he got in, but they have to think that the forward progress was arrested. And the Falcons have forced the Bulls to 4th down.
Well, credit the Falcon defense again. It's a truck and run. They're bringing one of the big guards around to get in front of Anthony Taylor. Credit the Falcons. They squeezed it down inside. There was no place to go. Tried to run a little tray, and they shut it down.
The truck wasn't able to get running.
Yeah, the truck never got enough gas. Hey, credit the Falcons. That's tough to do down there.
Hey, they're going for it on 4th and 1. Huge play early in the game. Quarterback sneak. They stacked him up again. A 2nd effort. Did he get across? Buffalo signaling touchdown, and the officials finally concur.
Well, this is a great drive by Buffalo, and you got to credit the Falcon defense on that goal line stand. That was a great stand.
Buffalo controlled the ball for nearly 10 minutes. I thought they had him stopped right there, and I think that had they ruled that stop forward progress, I don't think anybody would have really protested.
Well, big 7-4 for Buffalo. What he did is he got behind his quarterback, and that's really a strange rule in college football. You shouldn't be able to assist the runner, but big 7-4, one of those big buffet eaters through the buffet line, got behind Licata and pushed him into the end zone.
Blodgett bludgeoned him over.
Yeah.
Extra point is up and good. So the Falcons come within an inch of a massive goal line stand, but Buffalo
Offside. Defense, number 11. Penalties decline. Extra point is good. Timeout.
They are finally able to get it in, and they convert. And with 5:36 to go in the first quarter, Buffalo 7, Bowling Green nothing. Nearing a tremendous drive as Buffalo takes 9.5 minutes to go 75 yards in 15 plays. Finally had to sneak it over, though. Look how close they came to stop
Quarterback
him.
sneak. There he is. He's going in. There's big 7-4 getting a push. Big 7-4. Yeah, push your quarterback into the end zone.
I'll be honest, it looked a lot like he was already stopped.
Big 7-4 helped him out. That was a good drive. Great drive.
What a goal line stand that would have been, and they came so close to it, even against that really physical Buffalo offensive front. Falcons to receive the kickoff here. Fielded, but fumbled at the 18 and diving on it at the 25. Averting disaster, and so James Kanapke will be able to get on the field here with Falcon Fast. He threw for 443 yards last week in the victory over UMass. And in the Indiana victory, he set a record with 73 pass attempts, which shattered the old record of 63. I think he's going to be putting the ball in the air today.
Well, James has a beautiful release, a great passing arc. He steps up into the throw, great weight distribution, and he's putting up unearthly numbers. Passing efficiency at 122. Remarkable young man in a great system.
Went over 1,000 yards for the season in that win over UMass last week. The wind took that ball, and incomplete pass. Bowling Green's offensive starters, they certainly get up to the line very quickly as you see them there, and their offensive line, they have been protecting Napke, but they've also been getting success on the ground. Travis Green's having a big year, and he has a 1,200-yard games in 19 games since becoming a running back. After he started as a wide receiver, up the middle, and there is Kanapke getting out to the 29, and so far Buffalo has put the brakes on Falcon Fast. Here's the Buffalo defense, and their big issue with defense is they lost the MAC Player of the Year, All-American and 5th overall draft choice out of their linebacking core, and Khalil Mack. Lee Skinner has stepped up to lead that linebacking core, and they have a secondary, very experienced, but they're one of 5 teams in the country without an interception yet to this point in the year. A lot of that has to do with the fact that teams they're playing haven't thrown that much. That won't be the issue today. Shovel pass forward, lots of open space, and the Falcons quickly get a big gain as Green motors out past the 30-yard line to the 32.
Travis is a great back, 4.7 yards a carry for Travis. He's done a terrific job for Bowling Green. One of the oldest plays in football, the shuffle pass. He can also go out and catch the ball on the perimeter.
1st and 10, Kanapke goes out to the flat. That's where he gets a lot of his completions, but that bounded at the knees of Travis Green. And you wonder how much the Falcons' offense has been affected having to sit for so long in these windy conditions.
And absolutely, you see some great numbers on James. Yes, it does affect you. And what the first pass that was thrown in this drive was a quick screen, and you saw the wind take the ball and move it about 4 yards. So throwing sideways is going to be a problem today.
Again, they go with that forward shuffle pass, and again, Green finds daylight. A lot of it. Gets down to the 35-yard line before he is finally forced out downfield by Boise Ross, fine cornerback for Buffalo.
Well, shuffle pass again inside. James or Travis Green just reads where the crease is and takes it outside.
Boise Ross was a receiver, had 8 receptions, 69 yards before they moved him to the defensive secondary. Quickly the Falcons up with another completion to the 26-yard line. That goes to Heath Jackson.
Well, Buffalo's got to get lined up. The Falcons go real quick, and you can see they're kind of, you got to get lined up against the guys.
Trying to slow it up a little bit. All the receivers save one to the left, Green, and he got stacked up there inside the 25-yard line. And making the stop, Andrew Dadabo. Here's Travis Green's numbers, and he is over 2,000 yards for his career in 19 games. Imagine that with the pros. That's close in 16 weeks. That's close to a 2,000-yard season. Napke back. Nowhere to go. And he will bite the turf at the 23-yard line.
It's a great offense for Travis Green because with the multiple formations and all the wideouts, everybody is spread out. They underwear the defense, and then when he does get an opportunity to run the ball, basically everybody's spread out. The linebackers are gone. It's wide open spaces. So it's a perfect running back offense for Travis Green.
Lee Skinner on the stop. He was second to Khalil Mack each year in tackles. Now he's the leader with Mack gone to the Raiders. Pass, that one caught at the 12-yard line, turning it upfield, first down, as Ryan Burbrink, who had the biggest game of his career with 11 catches last week, gets to the 10-yard line.
Burbrink has great hands. It's just a sit-down hitch. He drives down about 7 strides, turns around, quick shoulder inside, and they put the ball right on him.
Green, high stepping inside the 10 to the 5, still on his feet, and looks like another rugby maul going on down there, trying to push him forward.
It's funny watching Buffalo line up to this Falcon Fast. They already look like they're a little tired, a little out of breath. So you can see how it is effective, and it hurts defense.
Falcons have maneuvered all the way down the field. Green takes it the rest of the way, sweeping right in for the touchdown.
Yeah, you definitely see that Buffalo looked a little spent toward the end of that drive. A simple pitch to the short side field, and Travis Green, outstanding back for Bowling Green. Here you go. Short side, here's the pitch, outside arm, good cut block there, and in the end zone.
They're going to be grateful for those 10-minute offensive drives.
They're quick. They're very quick.
Tyler Tate on to convert. He was MAC Special Teams Player of the Week a week ago. Converts, and the Falcons have tied it up. Buffalo a long drive, Bowling Green a short one, 7-7. A lot quicker. They ran almost as many plays as Buffalo, but about a third of the time.
Well, the Falcon Fast, you go to the refrigerator to get a sandwich, you might miss 2 or 3 touchdowns. It is quick, and you can see there's Travis Green. He made the touchdown on that last drive, a little pitch toss into the corner.
Both drives were 75 yards. Bowling Green's 11 plays, Buffalo's 15. Buffalo took 924. Bowling Green took 252. So quite a contrast.
You're in for a great game today, because in boxing, contrasting styles makes great fights. Well, you've got contrasting styles here today, and it's going to make for a great college football game.
At least Bowling Green's defense got somewhat of a rest as the Falcons were able to move the football.
Yes.
That's going to be key. If they'd gone 3 and out,
yes,
they'd have
absolutely,
been right back on the field after a 10-minute drive.
That's exactly the point. And you can see Buffalo at the end of that drive, those guys were having trouble lining up, and they were sucking wind. I mean, you can see it physically.
Meanwhile, Buffalo, their defense has got to hope that their offense can have as lengthy a drive and do it consistently as they had, or they're going to be out there running out of gas. The wind, you see, again, making its presence felt, is they're going to have to hold that ball on the tee.
Well, throwing sideways here at the field today, all the screens that everybody likes to throw, the quick screens, the bubbles, the hitches, throwing sideways is going to be a problem.
Bulls also had to hold the ball on their kickoff. Anthony Farinella booms one. He got it deep in the end zone last time. This one fielded on the goal line. And not much of a return. And a reminder that BCSN is going from your home to your home screen with the Watch BCSN app. Just download the app, and in moments you'll be streaming BCSN Live local sports directly to your smartphone or tablet. Watch BCSN is free for all Buckeye Cable System subscribers. Orange out again here at the Doit for this homecoming game. So far it's a very interesting game. As we said, with these distinctive styles that the two teams are bringing. Taking more time at the line of scrimmage than the Falcons take. Just get lined up from one play to the next. Pass out on the right flat, and that one is complete. Buffalo's been able to throw the ball to the sidelines well. Ron Willoughby got out of bounds there.
That's about a 5-yard, 6-yard hitch that Licata threw, and that shows how strong Licata's arm is, because the ball didn't be affected by the wind, and he put something on that. He's got a little salsa on that.
Just short of the first down. They've had a lot of half-yard to go situations here today so far already.
Fans wonder why does Buffalo wait and look to the sideline as long as they do? Because they're seeing how Bowling Green lines up, and a coach upstairs in the box is calling the play down to how Bowling Green lines up.
Oh, they just snowed under Taylor that time.
And that coach upstairs that called that play? Maybe you slap a fine on him, because they caught Bowling Green, and Bowling Green was blitzing in the gap and closed it down.
Actually, that was Campbell. Saw the number 1 on his jersey, but there was so many orange jerseys around, you didn't see the 2.
Coach Quinn says, let's not call that play again for a while.
Hey, Mark, you don't want to come right back with it? We're going to make it work.
Well, I don't know.
What a tribute to Gabe Martin, that even though he missed half the season, he still made All-MAC. Second-team All-MAC. He was first-team All-MAC the year before. Licata stepping up in the pocket, under pressure, he goes down again. And he is brought down by Brian Sutton. And also Brian Thomas is in there.
Well, Joe Licata is an experienced quarterback. He steps up in the pocket. He knows he hung on to the ball too long there. 1,001, 1,002, the metronome hits 1,003, and you got to let it go or you got to run it. Joe knows that. credit the Falcon defense. You know, they're starting to be a little aggressive. They're feeling a little bit better about themselves. A few 3-and-outs will do that.
The Buffalo defense might survive if their offense can hold the ball for 10 minutes every drive, but 3-and-out is going to be pretty tough for them to get out and put on their track shoes again.
Yeah, they looked a little, the defense looked a little gas for Buffalo on that first drive.
Back to punt. Tyler Grassman, the whistle blows before he can send it down the
Delay
field.
game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Now the line of scrimmage will be the 15, and he'll be right near his own goal line. Another delay. Buffalo. Timeout has been called. Buffalo going over gratefully to the sideline. And let's take a break with 36 seconds to go in the opening quarter of a tie game. The reason for the timeout, apparently there was some discussion as to whether the Falcons were going to challenge as to whether this was a fumble or not.
Well, Licata steps up in the pocket. Good rush by the Falcons. He goes down. He's down there. There's no fumble. Great call by the Stripers. It's absolutely right.
No, they were not charged a challenge because the announcement was that they did not challenge. Tyler Grassman, a line drive punt. Going to get a good Buffalo roll though, and it's going to turn into a 39-yard and no return punt, which is right around his average of about 40. Let's go to Kate Longenecker.
Well, guys, Travis Green just played a huge role on that last scoring drive by Bowling Green. But what's interesting, guys, is that he was converted from a wide receiver to a running back for the 2013 season. He's already at 2,070 rushing yards in his career coming into today, which is good for 10th all-time at Bowling Green.
That's what I was saying before, is that if you look at it from the standpoint of a pro season of 16 games, he's made over 2,000 yards in 19 games. So that's a phenomenal record there. And last year, of course, he set the all-time single-season rushing record.
Yeah, we saw him early in his career in the spring game that we did on BCSN. We knew he was a talent there.
Green threw it back to Knapke, who goes downfield, caught at the 10-yard line. And they maybe froze the Buffalo secondary a bit. And Teo Redding got downfield to grab that pass.
Well, it's a hand-back pass, an old Washington Redskins play. You give it to the back turns and hands it back to Knapke, and he throws it down on a post. Great throw and a tough win by James Knapke.
Pitch wide to Green. And he gets piled up at the 13-yard line.
Super play.
About Green, he comes from Monsignor Edward Pace. The Falcons have got a lot of great running backs. Willie Jeter, Anton Samuel, etc. First quarter is over, 7-7 the score. Big crowd enjoying this one, pointing goalward as the Falcons have arrived at Buffalo's 10-yard line. Bit of razzle-dazzle that Teo Redding got on the receiving end of.
Yeah, it was a very cool play. It's an old Washington Redskins play. Theismann would do it with Riggins. It's called a hand-back pass.
Now he's going to get 100 yards. He gets maybe one more reception. And that one knocked down at the goal line by Boise Ross. He was just like Travis Green, he's been converted. He was a receiver, 8 catches, 69 yards. Now he's playing in the defensive backfield.
Well, that was just a little drive slant, and it was thrown. James threw it a little bit behind the receiver.
Buffalo hasn't had any interceptions yet this year. This would be a great place for it as far as they're concerned. 3rd and 13. Knapke puts it under his arm and runs it. And will be well short of the first down yardage. He gets to the 8. And the Falcons will send on the kicking unit.
Well, it was a smart play by James, though. You know, that really is a heady play. There wasn't anything there. He had great protection. He went to 3 different reads, couldn't find anybody, and instead of making a bad throw, he didn't want to take points off the board. You know, he wants to get something out of the drive. That's a smart quarterback decision.
That Tyler Tate, a 52-yarder, 8 for 10. When he first came into the program, kicking was a major concern for the Falcons. Not any longer. He's done an outstanding job. That kick was negated by a flag being thrown.
prior to the snap. False start. Offense. Number 55. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
That'll turn it into a 29-yard attempt.
He had plenty of leg on it, so if the snap's good and the hold's good, should be okay.
You just hate to make a field goal and then have to do it again.
Well, you don't want to take points off the board. That's exactly right.
Actually, he's going to be setting it just outside the 20, so 32 yards, we'll say. Once again, straight on, and the Falcons take the lead 10-7 over Buffalo with 13:56 to go in the first half. Good downfield tackle by Darrell Hunter, stopping Jacob Martinez at the 30-yard line. As Buffalo sending their offensive unit back on the field. Nick Johnson there, we got to look at number 13, has 2 interceptions for the Falcons to lead the squad. Buffalo coming up in the eye. Pass out right flat, completed. And once again, driving for good yardage, Ron Willoughby, star from Avon Lake. Saw him play in this area in high school. He's a big star there. The Falcons drive, 5 plays, 40 yards, 128. And of course, the big one was that downfield pass from Kanapke to Reddick. Second down and a yard to go. Bit of premature movement, no call. And Taylor out to the 45. We talked about it before the game, but it's quite interesting when you look at the Falcons' defensive record, is that, of course, they have been allowing quite a number of points, and they have been allowing a lot of yards. As you see, they are last in the country, but look at the plays category. If you're seeing a lot more plays, then it goes the reason you're going to allow more yardage.
434 plays, and plays in football, it's like boxing. You're taking a punch. Each time you take a play, the Falcon defense is taking a lot of punches.
Taylor, Falcon defense taking a punch there, as for the first time he really breaks free and got down to the Falcon 35-yard line before he was finally stopped by Sanford.
Well, nice kick-out block on the outside. Anthony Taylor's an impressive guy. Again, we talked about him early on. He can run inside. He's going out with a little blown tire there. But he can run inside with power, and he can run to the edge. He's a multi-purpose back. Somebody must have gotten on his ankle a little bit.
Certainly need him out there. 10 carries, 46 yards. Brandon Oliver's the all-time leading rusher, but James Starks, who went on to play for the Packers, he missed his whole senior year in 2009. Otherwise, might still be the all-time record holder. Licata back to throw. Fade route down the right sideline. And the flags fly, as it will be an interference call on Turner for the Falcons.
Well, Licata, they ran a deep fade into the corner. Licata's impressive with his arm strength. He put that ball in a great spot, and the striper called interference on the Falcons.
The two officials contested each other for getting the flag out. Who could reach for the hanky the quickest? It was obvious that that call was going to be made.
Well, I think he said he was face guarding him, and he wasn't looking to defend the ball. He was shielding off the receiver in a face guarding fashion, and that's what they called.
1st and 10 on the 18. Taylor again, right back on after he walked off a bit gingerly a moment ago. And he got down to the 15-yard line.
You know, back to the Falcon defense, it was such a conundrum for them in that they do so well offensively and they play so fast, but the end result of that is when you score fast and you play fast, you know, thematically that means your defense is going to be out there a lot, and they're young, they've got some injuries, and that's a tough thing to deal with.
Gus Schwederman made that last tackle. He's played a lot for the injured Zach Colvin. Another fade into the end zone, caught by Ron Willoughby for a beautiful touchdown. And Buffalo reclaims the lead. He was covered closely by Hunter, but he still was able to catch that perfectly thrown ball.
A beautiful fade by Licata, and the DB just couldn't get his head turned around quick enough to try and swat that away. You can't throw that fade any better than Joe Licata threw that.
And Ron Willoughby, the pride of Avon Lake, making the catch for the touchdown.
When the fade is thrown correctly, it's very, very difficult to defend. You get it up in the air very quickly, very high. The DB can't find it. Touchdown.
Patrick Clark, left-footed sidewinder on to try the conversion attempt, and he's got it. Buffalo goes back on top, 14-10 over the Falcons with 11:29 to go in the half. Falcon cheerleaders were just honored for their national championship last year. After the first quarter, here's another look at the touchdown. A 6'4" receiver against a 5'9" defensive back. That made a difference on that play.
Well, the fade, you get it up quick and you throw it high. The DB can't find it. They're disoriented. They drop it in for a touchdown. You do not throw the fade any better than that. Joe Licata off to a great start today.
Wearing the captain's C, a la hockey jersey. The Falcon hockey team opened their season today against Simon Fraser, actually an exhibition game, but it was a 3-2 game after 2, and they ended up winning it 7-2. They were out shooting them by a very wide margin. Looking forward to a strong season this year. That kickoff lands at the 2 and then bounds out. And then the flag goes. That would have been a punt. That would have been beautiful for Buffalo. As it is, the ball will be put out in good field position at the 35.
Well, Joe Licata is in a national conversation. He's top ranked in one of the top ranked quarterbacks in 7 categories. And he can throw short, throw long, great ball handler.
Kick out of bounds. Bowling Green, first down.
Licata was the Class A New York State Player of the Year in high school. As we take a look at Taylor, he was back on after we saw him hobble off the field, but they're still attending to his ankle.
Well, it must not be real bad because they'd be taping on the outside of the shoe. So he's a terrific runner. I'll tell you what, he's comes as advertised. He can run inside, run outside.
222 yards last week against Miami. The year before, he had 154 yards against Miami, the team that rescinded a scholarship offer to him. And he said, if I play against those guys,
I'm going to show him. I'm going to show him it was a mistake.
Yeah, they had a coaching change and they took it back. Delayed handoff and breaking out into the open. A big gainer there as the Falcons get past the 50-yard line.
Well,
that's a good opportunity there for big yardage.
That's a cool play. It's an old peekaboo draw. You fake the pass and give on the run. Sam Weiss used to do it with the Bengals. It's a cool play.
Fred Coppett there. Now they go downfield again. And half a stride by Heath Jackson on his pursuer, Boise Ross, but he couldn't come up with the ball. Boise Ross, named after W.B. Du Bois. He has 2 brothers named after Duke Ellington and Langston Hughes. Famous characters.
Kanapke showed off a great arm there with the wind that's swirling out here, the ability to push that ball downfield. You get a good look at James, number 3 here. He is a confident guy in a great system for a quarterback. And if you watch him set up his mechanics, the way he throws the ball, great transfer of weight, great passing arc, very talented young man throwing the football.
And whistles resounding all over the yard here.
Offense, number 3, 5-yard penalty.
Now that's a paradox. that is really an oddity for the Falcons. As fast as they play, they have a delay of game. That probably doesn't happen to Coach Babers too many times.
I'm sure he doesn't like it too much.
No, that's kind of funny the way the Falcons play.
As fast as Baylor plays, Bowling Green averaging 10 plays a game more than Baylor, and coach still wasn't satisfied. Still thinks they could be quicker. He certainly doesn't want to delay game penalties. Downfield again, Knapke realized his pocket was breaking down, but he got a completion, and keeping on his feet there, Ronnie Moore, a breakaway receiver. He got down to the 30-yard line, and there is yet another play for 20-plus yards for Ronnie Moore.
Well, this is how great the Falcon system is in Falcon Fast. They were trying to hit a deep post, and it really hadn't come open. So what James did is he checked it down to the sideline. What's interesting about this offense is Knapke knows where the checkdowns are, and when the deep ball isn't there, he goes to the drop-off guys, and that's a pretty good system.
Falcons have had, coming into today, 42 20-plus yard plays, and number one in that department, Ronnie Moore. Fake the pitch. Knapke rolling left. Short pass downfield. Incomplete as he was trying to get it out to Moore, but Whitney Sherry was draped all over him.
Well, they faked the little sweep toss, this little half boot action. Knapke comes out. It was a levels pattern. They had two receivers about 10 yards apart heading to the sideline, and he was supposed to pick one.
Marcus Baker on that coverage. A pass downfield, and that one is
Boy.
overthrown. And now a late flag gets thrown.
And it was right. That's a great call by the Stripers. Bowling Green faked that little peekaboo draw, the old Cincinnati Bengals Sam Weiss play that they just ran a few minutes ago. They faked that, and it was pass interference.
Pass interference. Defense. Number one, 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Pass was intended for Hervey Kobe. You'll see the interference there as he held him up, and it might have impeded his chance to catch the ball.
It saved the touchdown. He was running a skinny post. It would have been a TD, an easy pitch and catch, and it was a smart play by the Buffalo defender to grab a hold of him. It was going to be a touchdown.
Fake to Coppet. He rolled off one tackle, but right into the arms of another. Adam Redden, all-MAC linebacker, moved a strong safety, made that tackle.
Well, you've got to love this game. It's such a contrast in styles. Two different ways of getting it done on offense, but and they're both so different, but interesting.
Coppet, one of many speedsters on the Falcons. Moore and Green. There's a pass, a slant to Burbrink. He's a very reliable receiver. And he got inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. His first ever game, he got 8 important receptions at Florida as the Falcons almost turned the upset.
Sit down hitch to Burbrink. He goes down 5 yards, turns his quick shoulder around, and they put the ball on him.
Coppet, and he got little or nothing that time. Belted by a couple of defenders. Boise Ross was there.
Burbrink is really a great receiver. He gets the ball out, his hands outside his body to catch the ball. It's kind of a pro technique. It really is. He's very adept at catching.
Pitch to Coppet on first down, and charging for the flag. Got to the 1, he lowered his shoulder, didn't quite get in as Ross just fended him off, but it will be second down and a yard to go for a touchdown.
Short side sweep. The all-you-can-eat buffet guys out there, 67 and a couple other guys. Good job blocking.
A little high snap to Knapke, gave it to Coppet. Stopped near the goal line. Thought for a moment Skinner might have just tossed him over inadvertently, but he didn't make it. Falcons got to remember how Buffalo got in on the one last time. Get an offensive lineman behind him and shove. Here they go.
There you
They're
go.
going to try it.
That's right. Everybody's pushing the runner these days. You get the runner in there, and a couple of the big beef eaters pushing behind him. There you go.
Just as before, this time Jacob Bennett of the Falcons signaling touchdown, and the officials agreeing. And Bowling Green in this seesaw game has gone back on top.
See, it's really, to me, a bad rule in college football. You shouldn't be able to assist the runner like that. Everybody does it. You push the runner into the end zone, and I think it's really a rule they need to reevaluate.
In rugby, they allow it.
Yeah, exactly.
The extra point is up and good. And the Falcons leapfrog over the Bulls again. 17-14 with 8:52 to go in the first half. Falcons up 17-14. Very unusual kind of a game if you look at the numbers. Teams are close to equal in terms of plays from scrimmage. Buffalo, by virtue of that 10-minute drive at the start, 15 plays to their credit, plus they're dominating the time of possession largely because of that. But the Falcons have the lead.
Well, Buffalo's doing what they want, and that they're slowing down the number of plays that the Falcons are getting, but the Falcons are showing that they can score and score fast.
Fielded on the 30 with a head of steam there. For a moment, it looked like it might be a big run back for Jamarl Island, but he was stopped. BCSN Sports Nightly is your home for scores and highlights of your favorite local teams. Join Ken Watlington and Eric Haubert each weeknight at 10:30 as they recap the night's action. Make sure to watch a full hour of Sports Nightly on Friday nights and see who was picked for the High School Player of the Week.
Yeah, the guys are doing a great job. It's a great show.
Buffalo with great field position on their 43. Look at Licata. Perfect. 8 for 8. Touchdown, no interceptions. That touchdown pass he threw is a beauty. Well, again, a couple of yards on first down.
Yeah, well, the fade was sensational. You know, Licata can make all the throws. I mean, he can throw short, he can throw long. He's a great ball handler, a good leader. You're seeing two excellent quarterbacks out here, and Licata certainly is impressive.
Taylor having a good game, although he hasn't really had any breakaway runs yet. Picked up 3 there. 2nd and 7. Licata trying to get everybody on the same page. Maintains his perfect passing record to an open player out in the right flat, and then some good yards after the catch. Marcus McGill breaking a tackle and getting inside the 30.
Well, our open mic down on the field was very cool because what we picked up was Licata changing the play and the pass protection at the line of scrimmage. He's yelling 67, 67. He was letting the linemen know up front that Bowling Green was blitzing. They changed their protection so they could pick it up, and he threw a nice hitch to the outside to take advantage of the Bowling Green blitz.
Bill made that catch. Good runs. Considered the 13th best prospect in New York. A lot of the Buffalo players are homegrown players, as you'll notice. Licata fits into that description. There's a good pass crossing over the middle to Martinez. Breaks a tackle at the 20, and he gets to the 7-yard line before he is finally dumped on the play by Paul Sen, but Buffalo threatening to take the lead right back again.
Great offensive call right there. It's a tight end sleeper. By tight end sleeper means a tight end blocks 1,001, start 1,002, releases, the defense forgets about him, comes across the field, you dump the ball off to him, and they had a nice game. Great call, great execution.
Some Shrek on that catch. The numbers in this distance looking quite similar, but Buffalo utilize their tight ends very well.
Shrek's a believer in that play.
And wide open around the left end. Taylor untouched into the end zone.
Well, the offensive line for Buffalo, we talked about them all day. They literally caved in the side of the Falcon defense. There was nobody there. AT walks in. Watch this. They're pulling a couple big beef eaters out there. Walks in.
Would have been touched, except he picked up that good block there by Devin Hughes to shield off the last defender.
This offensive line for Buffalo is special. They really are.
Getting good downfield blocking as well as controlling the line of scrimmage, which is something that they have done typically. Clark converts again. And this back and forth game continues. First one team leads, then the other. Last possession might decide it again. Buffalo up 21-17 over Bowling Green with 6:50 to go in the opening half.
Well, the big offensive line, they pulled a couple of the buffet special guys out there in the offense. They put a hat on everybody. The wide receiver on the outside had a good block, and AT just walks in.
You notice there the gesture up into the sky by Taylor. Quite a poignant story. Is the number that he wears in practice to honor a friend of his, an ex-teammate that he remembers when he's out on the field. Kicking it off from 35. With 6:50 to go. Fielded at the 2-yard line. And a bump there. Moore lost the ball. Buffalo thinking they've got it. And they do have it. The first big break of the game, a forced turnover on the kickoff return at the 21.
Yeah, one of the gunners came down and just swiped at the arm and ripped it out. It was a great play by Buffalo. One of the outside gunners, the outside guy that runs directly to the ball, and he just rugby ripped it out.
So this is the sort of thing that can really change the pattern of a game. It was one team was scoring, the other team, but now all of a sudden that pattern is broken and Buffalo can take a 2-score lead if they can go in here.
Buffalo has so many ways that they can hurt you. They can run, they can throw, they play action. They've got a lot of things going on.
Play action, they go with that fade route again. Again to Willoughby, and the flag goes.
Guarding. Yeah, it's the same call. It's face guarding again. They're not playing the ball. They're not getting their head turned around to play the ball.
Second time we've seen that type of an interference call made. Nick Johnson, the guilty party this time.
Well, what's so hard about the fade, the ball gets up in the air so quickly and so fast. See how high it is? The DB can't get their head turned around to find out where it is. They can't react quickly enough to it. That's why the fade is so effective.
It's a tough pass to put in there, though, but Licata's been doing it very well, and he's got that 6'4" receiver to throw to, and that's a big advantage also. First and goal from the 6. Intercepted. Gabe Martin. Back to the 30. And out to the 38-yard line. He spied out that crossing pattern, picked it off, and the Falcons come right back with a big break to deny Buffalo's scoring threat.
Well, that's a veteran, smart play by Gabe Martin. He read the route. It's a tight end coming under again, and he jumped the route. It's called jumping a route. He got to the route before the receiver did.
They were overly enthused about the interception. You know, I'm all for legislating against theatrics,
right.
But enthusiasm, spontaneous enthusiasm, you like to see that in the game. What a play. That's Bowling Green's defensive style. They maybe don't stop the other team cold, but they make big plays, as they did to win against UMass, as they did when they made several big 3rd and 4th down stops to beat Indiana.
Well, that's the old Cleveland Browns rubber band defense. You know, you bend and bend, but you don't break. And hey, give them credit. They made a great play there. Gabe Martin read the route, jumped it, and made a super play.
2 big turnovers, one each way. Cancels one another out. Napke downfield again. And this one is clearly too far for Roger Lewis, Falcons' top receiver. He's the one who grabbed that winning pass with 9 seconds to play to beat Indiana. And he has been put on the Blitnikoff watch list as a result of that great performance when he made 16 catches in that game.
Great numbers for Knappe. James is doing a terrific job. What you like about the Falcon fast offense is a lot of times these offenses throw nothing but short balls, but not so with Coach Babers. They push it deep.
And not this time as the ball came loose. Was it still a live ball? Yes, Buffalo recovers. Chris Dubeck is right there to flop on the ball, and now we've got yet another key turnover that could alter the course of the game.
James is looking downfield. He steps up in the pocket. It's just a nice sack. And he sacked him in the waist area. James dropped the ball down to his waist, and when the sack occurred, it punched the ball out.
Brandon Crawford on the sack. Dubeck the recovery. At least for the Falcons. Buffalo starting on the 39 instead of the 21, which was where they began their previous drive. Falcon defense with a little more breathing room here, but that could dissipate very quickly. Buffalo's offense is going, but not this time. Gus Schwederman is right there to greet Taylor at the line of scrimmage.
You know, when you make a play like Gabe Martin made there on that interception, that'll give a little confidence to the Falcon defense. It'll give them a little bit of a swagger. You know, they've been punched out a lot this year, and you know, that's an attitude that you've got to overcome. And maybe Gabe gave them a little bit of toughness here that they're going to buckle down and try to make a stop.
2nd and 12. Quarterback got bumped by his own back inadvertently. They completed the pass, but nearly put the receiver in the hospital as Nick Johnson stepped up and made a big stick.
Well, that's a quick stop out on the outside, and wow, boy, that hurts. That was a quick stop on the outside. Receiver runs down one, comes back one, you throw the ball out there. Joe threw it too high. The ball sailed on the Bowling Green Falcon, closed on it. Cover 2 coverage, they were right there, and he must have, after he closed on him, he must have got up and given him a little bit of the business.
I'm sure it was probably related to that earlier call that was made against Johnson when he was trying to cover Willoughby. A little retribution for him, but you have to maintain discipline in a situation like that. Great play for Bowling Green turns into a big one for Buffalo. 1st and 10 at the 26. Taylor again. Continues to forge forward and got inside the 20-yard line.
Well, you know, the right side of that Buffalo line, again, those buffet all-you-can-eat guys up front for Buffalo, they come off together with a physicality and with Anthony Taylor. That's a pretty good combination that they have.
2nd and 3. As the Taylor watch continues. A good day, not one of those shattering days such as he put on Miami last week, but there's a lot of game to go. And he broke a couple of tackles and roared 10 yards more to the 9.
What happens, Greg, when you have an offensive line like Buffalo and they lean on you? Watch, see, they're running a tray again. They're bringing they're pulling some of the big trucks out in front of Anthony, AT, and they just wear you down. They beat on you and they wear you down, and eventually that play's getting 2 or 3 yards, and then suddenly it goes from 8 to 10 to 15. It's a physical wearing down.
The thing about a runner like that that's scary is you might be keeping him in check for a while, reasonably.
Yeah.
Then he could just go off on you in the second half as they wear down the defense. Here he goes at the 9. All of a sudden breaking through the opening, nearly getting to the end zone. Not quite, but right to the very gates of the end zone.
Well, it's a physical line for Buffalo. We talked about that, and he's a physical runner. Anthony Taylor, watch this. Here you go. Ground level. He reads it. Look at see the big guys coming off in unison. You get another look. Oh, this is great block, great block. Big guys are getting all those blocks, hats on hats, and AT picks the hole.
You just kind of get the feeling that he may yet explode before this day is over.
You know, but he doesn't have that huge numbers game for them to be effective because he's so physical inside.
From the 1. And again, the Falcons, who have really played extremely well inside the 1-yard line today, thrust Taylor back again.
Well, why are they playing so well with their backs up against the goal line? Because they're putting everybody in the gaps. They're bringing everybody. You see how every gap is being filled by a Falcon? They're sellout blitzes down there. What Buffalo needs to do is they need to play action fake, boot out, and bring somebody to the corner, and they'll be wide open. They're filling every gap. They're bringing more people than Buffalo can block. That's why they're effective down there.
Led that charge. And here we go again, 3rd down and 1.
Yeah.
And timeout Buffalo.
Buffalo.
As they're going to want to discuss this. And let's take a break as they do. We'll be right back. 21-17 Bulls. 3rd and 1. Now the fan might be thinking they were all lined up at the 1-yard line ready to go. Then they call timeout. Why do they do that?
They call timeout because Bowling Green is blitzing in all the gaps. They're bringing more people than Buffalo can block. So Coach Quinn says, hey, let's get a timeout. Let's maybe fake the run, play action out, boot out, get a tight end underneath, get somebody in the corner, or run the ball at a wide zone stretch. But inside, they're bringing more people than Buffalo can block.
Maybe that's a big reason why the Falcons have been so effective in the goal line defense. Let's see if they change it up here. Second man through. They still go up the middle, but he got a little bit of momentum going, and Taylor drives it in for another touchdown.
Well, you know, Taylor is as advertised. He's physical between the tackles. He can run the zone stretch on the outside.
No, they call offside. The Falcons were offside, so a touchdown and a good block by Boomer Brock, one of the best names for a fullback you're going to see. He opened it up for him. Thought for an instant the Falcons were going to be taken off the hook by that penalty call, but it went against them. And it's 27-17, possibly going on 28 here. High snap, but placed down well, and Clark puts it through. And Buffalo has not won here in Bowling Green since 2010. Has gone up 28-17. And the turnovers have really turned the game in their direction.
Well, again, it keeps coming back to the physicality of the Buffalo line. You know, you just watch them come off the ball. They put a hat on a hat, and they're like road graders. They move you out.
Well, two great partners have teamed up to bring you the best in sports coverage. BCSN and The Blade bringing Northwest Ohio the best in local and regional sports coverage. Visit bcsn.tv, powered with The Blade, for sporting news, video highlights, real-time scores, and in-depth schedules and stats. Well, the Falcons now are in a position where they really need to try to get something before the half to go in on a little bit of a high note and to just narrow the deficit.
Well, you have to credit Coach Quinn and his game plan. His game plan going in was to double the time of possession and cut the number of plays, offensive plays that the Falcons get in half. And he's having a stat sheet recently put in front of us, but I'm saying he probably has done that.
Moore fields it at the goal line, turns the corner, and he's finally headed off at the 35-yard line by the kicker, Patrick Clark, just when it looked like he was about to break it. 4 plays, 57 yards. Taylor for another touchdown.
Credit, Coach Quinn. We get a good look at him. We had him on the sideline. There he is, walking down there. Everybody has a game plan going in, and he says, listen, we can possess the football. We do that well. We'll limit their touches, limit their offensive plays.
Take a look at the time of possession.
Oh, wow. Look
almost
at the stat.
tripling Bowling Green, and they've run only 6 more plays to do it. Up the middle, Burbrank was covered very closely there.
I mean, this Falcon offense is brilliant. There's no question about it.
Offense. 5 players in the backfield, 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, somebody wasn't up on the line of scrimmage is what happened.
A wrench is being thrown in Falcon fast in more ways than one. Buffalo controlling the ball, some penalties, turnovers, and all of a sudden things aren't working according to plan.
Well, it's a brilliant offensive scheme, but if they don't possess the ball that much and don't get that many snaps, they can't hurt you as badly.
Dumped over the middle. Look at all that green in front of Ronnie Moore. And he powers his way finally over the 50 before he is stopped. Stepping up to make the tackle there, Whitney Sherry, but there was no Buffalo player within 10 yards of him when he caught that ball.
Coach Babers is a great play caller. This is a little circle in route. You just do a little circle into the middle of the field, and they drop the ball off to him.
I'm almost surprised that play didn't go for more yardage.
Well, all he had to do is beat a safety.
Prior to the snap, timeout, Buffalo.
And Buffalo calls timeout. That's the 15th play of 20-plus yards for Ronnie Moore this year. And Dino Babers, he knows that his team can always come back.
Well, he knows what he's doing. Head coach, record 22-9. And 2 years as a head coach, oh, by the way, 2 conference championships. So he's got a brilliant offense. He's an incredibly talented offensive mind in football. And, he may be pushed to task today, though.
Well, an extra $500 would benefit any school. And with BCSN and Fifth Third Bank Give Back, you could buy an instrument for the band, send a class on a field trip, or do any number of things. Anyone can go to bcsn.tv and nominate a school or school organization. Enter now. Winners are selected monthly. And at least those cheerleaders get to keep moving down there on a cold day like this.
Yeah, it's a little chilly. I'll give you that.
Kate's going to be dancing with them down there to keep warm. First and 10 from the 48. Everyone out here. Knapke alone in the backfield. Pass caught again. Nicely delivered to Ronnie Moore for a gain to the 36-yard line.
Well, this offense put so much pressure on the defense. They went empty, and they were running 4 or 5 seams down the field. The officials missed a holding. One receiver was almost being tackled in the secondary. It puts a lot of pressure on the defense.
1:12 to go. That's an eternity for this offense. Knapke patiently waiting, again finds a wide open man in green. Spin move at the 25 and to the 22-yard line. They are really isolating the open receivers for those dump passes.
Well, it's a slip pass, and what happens is you run everybody off, and Travis Green, the lone running back, slips out behind the big guys and kind of hides, and you dump the ball to him.
But Knapke gets dumped this time. From dump passes to dump the passer.
Well, one of his big linemen that picked him up, 67, missed the block, and then he picked up his quarterback. I like that. See, watch it.
Adam Redden, the all-MAC linebacker on that blitz.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You missed the block, but you go pick up your guy. That's okay. That's all right.
So a bit of a setback there for the Falcons on what was a very, very well-conceived drive up until this point. They still have plenty of opportunity with 48 seconds to go and the ball on the 30-yard line, one more timeout. But nonetheless, a very critical point in this ball game right now.
Well, you can see this Falcon offense. If they get X amount of snaps, they're going to score X amount of points. So the key to beating them is doing exactly what Buffalo's doing, is limiting the snaps with the time of possession.
And coming up with a big play every now and then, like a sack or a turnover.
Takes them out of their rhythm and makes them, have to do different things.
Look how close the total yardage is. Both offenses functioning well in their own way. Almost Buffalo's first interception of the year,
now,
but in and out of the hands of Okezie Alonzi.
Well, I think I know, Greg, why Buffalo has not picked off a pass this year. Okezie had this one thrown right in the breadbasket. Oh, man, Okezie. I mean, you can't get one better than that.
In fairness, Army threw the ball 7 times against him, Norfolk State 12 times, so that's part of the reason,
I
too.
get it, but Okezie had to catch
he definitely
that one.
had that one. That ball was caught at the 16-yard line by Roger Lewis.
That was a ham sandwich thrown right at you. You gotta get it. Oh, man.
But 4th down, that completion not enough to move the chains, and now the Falcons have a decision to make. A field goal would be 33-yarder. That's easily makeable. Put an extra second on. Tyler Tate
4 seconds on the game clock.
Hit on a field goal from about that distance earlier. He hits it here. It's a 1-possession game, cutting it to 8 points.
Yep.
But on the other hand, is that enough for them?
Well, I don't think they're, as much as they're talking down there, as much as they're talking, I don't know, the kicker's down there. He's loosening his leg up, so I always feel you take points when they're there. At this juncture in the game, I would want to grab the points. Coach Babers knows he's got confidence in his offense. He knows that they're going to score other times, so don't leave any points, on the sideline. You got a chance to take 3, take it.
And Tate has been a very reliable kicker. He's 9-11 on field goal attempts. And he made one into just this win from just this distance earlier. So it looks like a good decision here. We'll say in a minute whether it was really a good decision. Yes, he makes it. Great call by Coach Babers, and it's 28-20. Buffalo's lead is 8, and the Falcons back within a single possession with just 19 seconds remaining to go in the opening half. Now coming up very shortly, we have another edition of our BCSN basketball camp. 5th through 8th grade boys and girls invited to the free camp with some of the best instruction you'll see, especially for that price, on Saturday, October 18th. Have them join the fun and learn from some of the area's best experts. For more info, visit bcsn.tv and register today.
That was a smart decision by Coach Babers. He's confident. He knows they're going to score more points. Why leave 3 on the field? It's a smart decision.
He had confidence in his kicking game, too. It wasn't too long ago, and I think they would have eschewed that because they would have felt the chances of missing the kick would have been too great. They would have been forced into going for it. But now, Tate has become a real offensive weapon for Bowling Green, as you see the drive numbers.
Well, what this man is doing on offense, Coach Babers, is special, and they're going to always score a lot of points.
Ground ball, the kickoff. And Buffalo will start on their own 42 with 16 seconds to go. 1 completion, and they might be within scoring range.
Well, I get the ground ball, but what you wanted to do is pooch it a little bit deeper so that scenario can't happen. The one you just slayed out, you're absolutely right. If they want to, it looks like they're just going to kneel on it, but if they wanted to, they could take a shot.
Boy, why not? Ball on the 44-yard line.
And you've got Licata at quarterback, who's awful good.
Seems a little overly conservative to just go to the locker room, but it appears that's what they're going to do. When you get that kind of field position, you might not want to waste it. But Buffalo got to be happy, though, with their performance in the first half with the 28-20 lead, especially with that boss drive that started the game and kind of set the tone for this game that's followed since.
Well, what set the tone is the offensive line for Buffalo. They're exemplary, and Anthony Taylor is the real deal. I mean, he's a back you mentioned before, Greg. He will wear you out, and especially in the second half, I think, where those kind of backs just really come to the forefront.
The Bowling Green defense has been on the field an awful lot. And against that great Buffalo offensive line, Taylor had a good first half. He could run wild, conceivably, in the second. That's something Bowling Green is going to have to really contend with.
And credit Gabe Martin. He made a play defensively that, this game could even look a little bit different.
All right, Kate Longenecker down on the sideline with Coach.
Thanks, Greg. Coach, wind is swirling, a little chilly down here. Has it impacted your offensive play calls at all tonight?
Well, not so much. With the wind, you have to do certain things, and when you have the wind, you got to take advantage of it. Obviously, I think both teams have been playing the wind very smart today.
Speaking of the other team, Anthony Taylor playing really well at that running back position. How do you slow him down today?
Well, I think we just need to tackle him. I think we've been there, but we haven't been making the tackles. We've got to hold on.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
He was still smiling. That's a good sign. As Kate had him down there by the sideline. 28-20, Buffalo leading Bowling Green at the half. Don't forget to have a good third before the fourth.
Well, felt so bad for Matt Johnson. We were privileged to watch him last year. Best quarterback in the MAC, took him to a championship. So much of football, Greg, is injury and opportunity. And unfortunately, with Matt being injured, he created an opportunity for James Kanapke, and he's taken advantage of it.
The thing what was for James to beat Indiana as a starting quarterback for Bowling Green. Here we go, a long return of the second half kickoff. The ball is fumbled right to a Buffalo player, but it was dropped out of bounds. And the Falcons very fortunate to maintain possession. Brandon English returned that out past the 40-yard line. Perhaps another example of why Buffalo doesn't have interceptions.
Well, I can tell you exactly what Coach Baber said in the locker room at halftime with the Falcons. We get the kickoff, we're going down, boom, 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 we're score. This game is, pretty much even up, and we're going to get after it. This drive's important for the Falcons.
They've got good field position. Start, and right up the middle, Coppett. He's got great speed. Can he outrace the defenders? They barely get him. on a diving play. Coppett was upset. He didn't take it to the house. Adam Redden just barely upended him, and then they're right back up to the line of scrimmage.
Well, it's a middle gash play, and the reason there's nobody there is because the Falcons have them formationalized and spread out all over the field.
Pitch to Coppett again. This time they close him down before he can get going. Marcus Baker in from his defensive back position.
Yep, Coach Babers at halftime told him we're going to score quick here and we're going to kind of retake the energy of this ball game.
And they've gotten all the way to the Buffalo 23 just 40 seconds in. I like the way that he still was smiling. He still had a good demeanor even though they were trailing at the end of the first half. Fade to the end zone, but that was underthrown. However, a flag goes, and very much to the chagrin of the veteran cornerback, Courtney Lester, he'll be called for interference.
Pass interference. Defense, number 4, 15-yard penalty.
Well, there's been a lot of those types of calls here in this game.
All the interference today has come off the fade, and what's happening is the DBs don't get their heads turned around soon enough to see the fade, and then they get up into the face of the receiver. You know, it's like a face guarding deal. They don't even play the ball, and that's what's being called.
Despite the length of those locks, I assure you that is Lester.
Yeah, the key to defending a fade as a DB is you get your head turned around and try and locate the ball.
Pump fake, another one. Hand off to Coppett, didn't fool anyone. Lee Skinner is right there to make the stop. Lee Skinner has been the leader of the Buffalo defense. Khalil Mack, just to reiterate, he was MAC Defensive Player of the Year. He was All-American. He was the 5th overall draft choice in the National Football League, and now he's starring with the Raiders. That's pretty big shoes to fill, and Skinner finally has become the leader of that linebacking corps.
He's doing a good job. He really is.
The second in tackles to Mack in the first 3 years. 2nd and 9. Napke looked left, went right. Found Moore, diving for the end zone, touchdown.
Well, they formationalized him into this play. It was trips with a split. And what Kanapke does so well in Coach Babers' brilliant system is he looks left, he looks people off, he knows he's going back to the right, stretch to the pylon, got it, touchdown.
This feels like a playoff atmosphere because of the weather and the fact that these two teams are playing for first place, and with Central leading Ohio, this game takes on very, very important proportions. Especially, we're going to review that and see whether he perhaps got to the end zone.
Either they're going to say he had a foot that stepped out of bounds, or that when he stretched to the pylon, he didn't get there. We take a look, they hitch it out, good catch, good throw, up he goes. Does a foot go out of bounds? There could have been a foot on that sideline. That was a tough, take another look.
That would be the point of contention, it would appear.
Here you go. See if you see a foot on the white right there. That's a tough call.
Again, it's supposedly, it has to be definitive to overturn it. That didn't look definitive to me.
Get another look. Is it on the white? Yeah, doesn't look like it. And the official's right there. I mean, he's looking right at it. So
it appeared that the heel of his
that's the right call.
Cleat was knocked down on the ground, and that's what would have had to have been on the ground for him to be out of bounds.
And the official's right there. He was looking right at it.
They did it without a United Nations conference.
Exactly.
Good job.
Wasn't a new NATO policy. Yeah, you like that. You're confident. You make the call, and you look at it, and it's good. Let's go.
Going to go for one. Only down 2. I wonder whether it wouldn't have been worth it to go for 2, because if they miss it, they're still within a field goal, but they'll take the 1 point. Who knows? It might come in very handy later. Buffalo's lead is down to 28-27 in the 3rd quarter. We might have to delay this game for a moment while the marriage proposal concludes. Somebody got the romantic idea of doing it on homecoming day.
Yeah. Well, you know, you'd think you'd want to check your odds on that, because getting turned down in front of the entire stadium, and they're on the
you got to have confidence.
They're on the big board and getting turned down. That might be an ego crusher.
That would.
A man who's not had his ego crushed, however, is the brilliant Coach Babers on this offense. Greg, it is a brilliant offense. I mean, you got to be really honest about it. It's special. It's unique. And, man, he is going to score some points with this.
Well, they sure did what I'm sure he said in the locker room they needed to do. Let's go out and hit
Yeah.
it quick.
Yeah.
Minute 36 seconds into the third quarter, they got that touchdown. Kick fielded 2 yards deep. Kevin Hughes breaks out to the 23 before he's surrounded by a swirling band of orange jerseys. They'll reasonably limit that return. And a reminder that you can recognize a high school coach for BCSN's Coach of the Year. Your school's athletic department could win $2,000. Go to bcsn.tv to complete a nomination form and recognize any coach in the Buckeye Cable System service
After the
area.
play was over,
Deadline to
Fouls.
nominate a fall coach
kicking team,
is November 2nd.
kicking team number 25, receiving team. That was offside.
You know, those are calls I don't get. You know, they were saying both guys, both sides were giving each other the business, and why even then just pull the two guys together and say, hey, listen, just play football, don't give each other the business, and forget it. Why even go through the thing of throwing the flag, you know? Don't get that.
Okada's numbers, 10 of 11. The one pass that he didn't complete was intercepted by Martin in the end zone. I guess you get a little FaceTime.
Yeah, right. There you
Up the middle to the 33 on first down. That's what the Falcons have to start doing, is corralling this ground game of Taylor as he got stopped there by Gabe Martin.
Gabe's played a great ball game today and made a key interception when he broke on a route to a tight end. And if the Falcon defense could gain experience and confidence and start promoting and getting 3 and outs with this offense they have, they would be incredible to deal with.
They've got at least 4 guys on their defense that were preseason All-MAC. They got talent. There's a pass, and they smell that one out and stop Willoughby in his tracks. Sanford got over to put the final stop on him. Willoughby, he's been really tough, that 6'4" frame, and he's been the leader. Like you said, a lot of excellent receivers on the Buffalo offense. Kevin Hughes, Marcus McGill, and Jacob Martinez have all been go-to guys.
Well, with the running game that Buffalo's had today with Anthony Taylor, they haven't been in many 3rd and longs, and that's been part of their success. They've got one here, so to see how they execute that.
A little bit of a rush on Licata. He safety valves it off to Hughes, but good pursuit will not allow him to get the first down yardage. 4 guys running to the football. And the Falcons, for the first time since the second drive of the game and Martin's interception, have come up with a stop of the Buffalo offense, and only the second time that they've done it on downs.
And that might be the other thing that Coach Baber said to the team at halftime for the Falcons is, hey, give us some 3 and outs. You've seen our offense. You get us a couple 3 and outs, and we're going into the end zone. So I would imagine that was part of the conversation.
Line drive punt again, similar to the one we saw earlier. I don't know if he's doing that by design.
He is.
He's gotten a great roll both times.
Yeah, no, he is. It's a rugby punt. They move to the side where he can kick it away from the single return man. It's low, it's out of the wind, it goes end over end, it hits the turf. It's really a good special teams play.
With that low altitude, you better make sure there's no one around to block it, though.
That's why they, and that's exactly the point. That's a salient point. That's why they move it. It's a moving kick like a rugby kick.
Ball down on the 22-yard line, which is where the Falcons will put the ball in play. Now they're going to be trying to take the lead back again. Got several lead changes already in this contest. Apke with a good first half comparatively, but not a great one. That was a finely executed first drive, downfield pass, right there on the mark to Ronnie Moore, who is starting to become a real game breaker here again.
Well, this shows how sophisticated this passing attack is. It was a slant corner, and this ball's thrown before the break. He threw it way out of the break. I mean, you can't defend that. It's a perfectly thrown ball.
Skinner broke stride, or he would have had him for a sack before he unloaded, maybe even caused him to fumble it. Pass to Moore, completed. He gets just a yard past the midfield stripe, 2nd and 1.
If you watch James's technique in throwing the football, it's a good technique for young quarterbacks to watch. Great passing arc, good transfer of weight from his back foot to his front. He has a nice passing motion.
And off to Green, his first carry of the second half is competent. He carried the mail in the early part. That opening drive, he got down to the 44.
This Falcon Fast offense comes at you in waves. I mean, it's a constant attack. They just keep attacking you. They stretch you and attack you.
Napke again alone in the secondary. Inside screen, and with running room, Ronnie Moore, he seemed to stumble. Still, he got good yardage. I don't believe he quite made the first down marker, however. It'll be another 2nd and 1.
Well, this is a sneaky line of scrimmage screen. They had the receiver come right behind the offensive lineman. It was a unique pattern.
Green again, he got stuck by Skinner, and then 4 more Buffalo players come piling in. And the official's going to help him up. Skinner, he's the one who blew up that play, and then his mates ran to the ball. Up the middle to Green. Seemed to have some good forward momentum going, and then he got corralled, but I think he got the first down yardage before he was stopped by Brandon Crawford, who made that big sack earlier. That resulted in a fumble in the recovery by Dubak.
This offense is so difficult to defend. They stretch you from sideline to sideline and then attack you right up the middle with Travis Green.
Sprinting out right, lofted pass, and another flag for interference. We've seen a lot of those.
Yep, and it was
as number 33 for Buffalo. It appears that Kyril Threats is going to be called for interference against Chris Pullman.
Defense, number 33.
Stripers are right. It's the right call. They had a little straight middle seam on. Kanapke just lofts it up in the air. The DB lost sight of his receiver that he was covering and was all over him like a wool shirt. You know, he was. I mean, you know, they set up these individual one-on-one matches, and that's why the DBs are grabbing at the receivers. They don't have any help over the top.
No question, there was contact before the ball arrived. A good call. The Falcons with 1st and 10 on the Buffalo 18. They're in the red zone. Going for the end zone, and Burbrink had to turn to his other shoulder, and the ball was overthrown.
Well, that was a mistake. I'm thinking maybe on Burbrink's part. I think he turned out, and I think initially they wanted to throw in, and then he threw out. It was a touchdown. He was wide open, but one of them communicated the wrong way.
Would have had to be a ghost to the post.
Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah, Dave Casper. I was thinking the same thing. It was a touchdown. He was wide open. Again, individual matchup, one-on-one. The Falcons are beating Buffalo in those matchups.
2nd and 10. Napke looked right, decides to run, and he just slides to safety at the 13. But that's going to set up a 3rd down and 5 yards to go situation here.
This Falcon Fast puts so much pressure on the defense because all the matchups are single one-on-one. All you have to do is beat your man one-on-one. You have no help. And they're getting big plays out of it.
They need a big play here. It's deflected and knocked down by Redden. For a moment, it looked like it might have been a candidate to be intercepted, although this Buffalo team hasn't got any interceptions. That could have been the first one.
Well, yeah, it was certainly tipped. And the key in defense, if you can't get to the quarterback, then you put your hands up and try and knock the ball down.
Tate trying for his 3rd field goal. This one a 31-yarder. The good news, if he makes it, Bowling Green is in the lead. The bad news for the Falcons is it means 3 times they had potential scoring threats where they had to settle for a field goal. But Tate does the job, and the Falcons go ahead 30-28 with 8:07 to go in the 3rd quarter. Falcons have gone back on top of the Bulls 30-28 after they were down at one time 28-17. 2 Tyler Tate field goals that put the Falcons ahead. coupled with that early touchdown. Now Buffalo going to have to get the ball moving again, and I'm sure they'll try to ride the coattails of Anthony Taylor, again, who has played such a big game for them in the first half, getting up near 200 yards.
He's such a unique back. He has the power to run in between the tackles and the speed and agility to run the outside zone stretch play. So he is a real weapon.
Falcons' Anthony Farinella, their kickoff specialist, ready to send it soaring downfield. In a game like this, it's good that you've got the lead, but how much of a lead is 2 points with so much time remaining?
Well, Buffalo's got to get back to possessing the ball, slamming the football with Anthony Taylor, and limiting the touches that the Falcon Fast is going to get.
1 yard deep this time. Hughes cornered at the 15, and they bury him. And a long field again. We mentioned Anthony Taylor. He had that great first half. You had the feeling that there's a possibility he could even have a bigger second half.
Yeah, that was a zone stretch, physical, strong, following the big guys, run in traffic. Nice cut there to the outside. It was an inside zone. He took it outside.
When he scored that touchdown and gestured up to the heavens, we started to talk about a little bit of an inspirational story regarding him. Let's go to Kate for more on that.
Go, Kate. Did point up to the sky after that touchdown. He's actually commemorating a friend that he lost over the summer. It's actually a center from Kent State, died of an unknown condition. They don't really know what happened. He died in his sleep, Jason Bitsko. But for Taylor, he's been wearing number 54 in practice. He wanted to wear the number 54 during games where they said he would be an ineligible receiver. He also put RIP number 54 on his cleats that he's wearing today. He did say he's always with me on the field. They were childhood friends. They went to high school together, and he gives me that extra push that I need. I think he's been doing that for him today, guys.
Certainly think so. They went to Huber Heights Wayne High School in the Dayton area. Obviously a tragic situation, but nonetheless speaking very highly of Anthony Taylor. That deflected pass, and it was Kendall Montgomery who got in, one of the larger physical presences for the Falcons, got his hand on that football.
Well, you can see a little difference in the defense for the Falcons now. Got his hands up, batted that inside bubble screen down. They're being more physical at the point of attack, and it's taking Buffalo out of their rhythm offense. So they are being more physical.
6'6", 278 is Kendall Montgomery. Used to be a tight end, but the Falcons had so many good tight ends coming through, guys like Alex Bayer and Jimmy Scheidler. They decided, hey, let's utilize this guy on the defense. Let's get him in. A good decision. And once again, they catch quarterback, but he got away. Licata threw it downfield, just threw it away basically. He was engulfed in Taylor Royster's arms and escaped.
Well, football's a very emotional game, and yeah, he wasn't grounding because he was outside the tackle box and he threw it away.
You tell me why being out of the pocket means you can just throw the ball away to avoid a big loss. I don't understand that. I never have, never will.
Well, it's because it's what the Stripers say it is, basically.
It's not football. That's what it isn't. And they get it down to the 47-yard line, and Buffalo puts the touch on that. But the Falcons with the ball in Buffalo territory. Now, they were down 8 at the half. They were down 11 late in the second quarter. They've got a chance if they score here to really take over this game.
Falcon defense has been pumped up by the quick score, the initial opening drive that of the second half that the Falcons had on offense. They scored, they fired up the defense, they become more physical, they become more aggressive, and they've taken Buffalo out of their offense a little bit. That's what's happened early in this second half.
Plus Buffalo not as much of a quick strike team as the Falcons, and Bowling Green could get a 2-possession game on them. Make Buffalo play at a higher tempo than is optimal for them. That pass incomplete on first down.
Well, somebody watching might say, well, why doesn't Buffalo get any pressure on Kanapke, the outstanding quarterback for the Falcons? Well, the reason there's no pressure is because the team is spread out from sideline to sideline covering receivers. There's nobody to rush the quarterback. So a lot of time he's by himself back there.
Flag.
Number 55. Second down.
Alex Huddle called there, all MAC linemen. I wonder how much the linemen like the microphones and the numbers being announced.
I love the linemen in football, the offensive linemen, the all-you-can-eat buffet guys. I like to hang out with those guys. They play the game the way it's meant to be played. Physical, tough, a lot of contact.
Second team All-MAC last year at right guard. Won the Mack Truck Award in high school for his play as a senior. And that one is caught by Burbrink. He specializes in those kind of catches, mid-range.
Yep.
One of the most consistent players that you're going to see.
He just ran a little dig route, came straight across the field, and Kanapke put it right on his number.
3rd and 8. Both defenses trying to assert themselves a little more here in the second half. That pass downfield, Moore got a hand on it, and for once there will not be an interference flag thrown, and the Buffalo defense comes up with a big stop on downs.
Well, what's going to be a problem for Buffalo is you watch Kanapke back in the pocket to look at him. I mean, he could eat 2 ham sandwiches back there. I mean, there's no pressure. And if you let him stand back there all day and look for receivers, he is going to shred you.
Joe Davidson from nearby Findlay, Ohio. An All-MAC punter. And another great punter from Findlay, Brian Schmidtabush earlier. That one is not going to do much for his average, but no return, and they're on the 15-yard line.
Well, he did a great job. It was an interesting thing, the way he dropped the football. He held the football straight up and down and kicked it in a straight up and down fashion, and that's what took pace off the ball and allowed him to kick that pooch kick. That's exactly what they wanted to do.
So look at the yardage allowed today. Bowling Green way below their average because they haven't faced as many plays, for one thing, but secondly, they're starting to pick it up a little bit here. Taylor shucked off a tackle and got out to the 20. I thought that play was going to be stuffed right at the outset by James Sanford, but Taylor ended up getting 5 yards out of it. A Buffalo player is down.
Well, that was an outside zone and good blocking on the right side of the Buffalo line, and Taylor can run that play. There's no question about it.
Let's take a break as they continue to attend to the injured player. Bowling Green up by 2. This 6'4", 308-pound offensive lineman. You see he's up and walking fairly comfortably right now, so that's good to see.
When you see how much the college game has changed, I mean, big guys that are athletic and agile and that can move, it's really changed the game dramatically.
There weren't any 300-pound guys in the pros. No. In fact, when we were coming up.
Well, I think in 1986, they had 4 guys that weighed 300 pounds in the entire NFL.
Definitely a different world, and then you get all of the elusive, quick guys that we see in these offensive schemes, such as the Falcons utilize. It's definitely, it's almost a different sport than it used to be. 2nd and 6 with the ball on the 19-yard line. Falcon defense looking for another big stop in Bulls territory. Martinez in motion. Giving the ball around right end, and he got met rudely. The ball came loose. I.J. Barima came up with it, ran into the end zone. I don't think they're going to say that was a live ball. Nonetheless, he got the thrill of running it into the end zone, but they really, really stepped into Martinez.
Oh, he was down. Yeah, it was. He was down. That's a great call by the striper. But the DB did the right thing.
Yeah, why not?
You don't know. You pick it up and you go to the end zone. That's what you're taught to do. That was just a wing around, and he got put down and let the ball out and he hit the ground.
Well, it's definitely sensible for him to run it back. Gus Schliederman with the tackle. Ball did pop right out. It's just that he was down beforehand by a fraction of an instant. 3rd and 2. Enormous play right now. driving for the yardage and then getting really belted backward, Taylor. And we'll see where they spot the ball. What a shot he took. Paul Senn, and that stopped him short of the marker. It looked like he was going to make it with his forward progress, but then Senn just came in and blasted him.
It was a good offensive call. They faked that wing around again and then ran the ISO up inside AT, Anthony Taylor. It was a nice scheme. Schematically nice, but credit the Falcons. They shut it down inside. And again, credit the Falcon defense. They've been physical in the second half. A real physicality they brought out of the locker room in the second half.
Senn made the tackle, and Schwieterman was the one that came in and really knocked him for a loop backwards. And he decided, I think I'll think the better of playing that ball. It was almost to the point where it rolled to a standstill anyway. Why risk the fumble? And they down it at the 38. A smart play by Ryan Burbrink.
Well, that rugby kick for Buffalo has been very effective. I mean, the Falcons are letting it, roll, and you're picking up 10, 15, again, additional yards of terra firma Buffalo is on the kick. So
it's a lot more dicey to try to pick that up than it is to catch a ball.
Yep.
It's kicked lofted in the air.
Right, absolutely. Well, it breaks the rhythm and timing for sure.
Hand off. Just feeling his way along for a couple of yards. Fred Coppett.
It's interesting that the confidence that Bowling Green has with this offense, you can just see it. I mean, all the 11 guys out on the field have a confidence that they're going to score, they're going to move the ball, and they really can't be stopped. You can sense the confidence that they have.
Coppett rushed for over 3,000 yards in his high school career, over 3,300 in fact, and his team ended up winning 2 state titles and a national title. Mythical national title, I guess you'd say. And that ball is incomplete. Might have been partially deflected by Andrews Dadabo.
Well, that's one of the first bad reads that James Knapke's made today. He went to a sit-down hitch to his wide receiver, and he was covered inside and out. He was double covered. He should have gone off him and gone to another person. James doesn't make many bad reads, but that was one.
Third down and 7. Knapke trying to hit Coppett on that cross, and there's Buffalo's first interception of the season as it bounded into the hands of Boise Ross. And I think they're excited because they got the big turnover, but I think they're also saying, we finally got an interception.
Yeah, it was a little dig. Bowling Green runs this little dig route. The receiver comes straight across the field. See him come straight across? Ball just, the DB got into it, popped it up, and it was picked off. And how many times did we talk about they hadn't had an interception yet this year? I think was the only D1 team in the country that didn't have it.
Only 5.
Yeah, only 5 that didn't have an interception. So
I'm sure that W.E.B. Du Bois is smiling right now.
Yeah,
as his namesake pulls off that interception to break the game. Now Buffalo needs a punt return for a touchdown. They haven't had one of those since 2002. It's the longest drought in the country. Taylor. Falcons got to hope that doesn't happen today. Taylor to the 40. That's close to a first down.
Well, he really is a special back. You watch him run, and he can run the inside power play. He can run the outside zone stretch. His physicality. He'll drop a shoulder on you. We haven't really seen him in the pass game. They haven't done much with him in the pass game, but he really is a unique back.
He's from Huber Heights. We mentioned he went to Wayne High School there. His teammate from Kent State. That ball is caught for the first down. Jason Bitsko from Kent State, who passed away in August. Another thing about Taylor is that Bo Oliver, the all-time leading rusher, texted him last week, I guess, and said, I just sense you're going to go for over 200 against his would-be team, Miami Redhawks, and he went out and made it reality with the biggest game of any player in the nation.
Well, they've listed him at 5'10", Anthony Taylor, and 207, but he could put on another 10, 15 pounds. You can't do much about the height, but
so how important that is to a running back anyway. And he got stopped in the backfield again by, this time, Charlie Walker.
Well, there was a little bit of a face mask the Stripers may have missed here. He comes up inside right now. And he took his hand off of it, I guess.
Look at him play off that block by John Kling. John Kling, an excellent player for Buffalo, replaced Jason Carlson, their all-MAC offensive lineman we got hurt last year.
Well, where I was getting to with Anthony Taylor is 207. For the next level, if he's looked at in the NFL, you get him up to 220.
Game clock to 2:42. And reset the play clock to 40 seconds.
You get him
42
up to
on the game clock. Thank you.
You get him up to 220, and he maintains the same level of speed. You know, he's a guy that maybe could be looked at to play on Sundays. I mean, it really could be.
We had a lot of guys who've proven they have the capability of it. They have lost a lot of great players. Alex Newt's all-MAC wide receiver last year. Colby Way, an all-MAC defensive end. Alex Redden was all-MAC. They still have him. He's been a staple of their defense. 2nd and 13 here. Swing it out left. Hughes, but he is bulldozed. Great anticipation there by the Falcons' Fred Sanford, who made, oh, pardon me, James Sanford, Fred Sanford. That was a Freudian slip there, but
There you go.
But he was the one who forced that fumble last week against UMass, and he makes another huge play there.
This was a film read. They recognized the set, they recognized the screen, and Bowling Green rolled into it. That's film study, and they recognized that immediately.
Not Fred, not Lamont.
Hey, that was a good show. I get it.
It sure was. 3rd and 20. They go with a draw to Hughes. That's not going to net that many yards in all likelihood. And he goes down at the 40, and it's 4th down, and the Falcon defense has really played a whale of the 3rd quarter. And they have forced Buffalo to give up the ball again. Tyler Grassman, I guess once again now we'll get used to. Now look at that, he's practicing a conventional leg swing. Let's see what he's going to do here. Maybe to try to go coffin corner. He will kick it a little more conventionally. No. But they're still going to get him coffin corner.
It's a brilliant punt. It works.
And down on the 4. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that you say, I wonder why we didn't think of that years ago.
Yeah.
There'll be a procedure call made here on Buffalo, which would be unfortunate for them as they had the Falcons inside the 5-yard line. See them conferring with coach Dino Babers.
Offense, 5 players in the backfield, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
You got to make them kick it again and see if they could do that again. And somebody didn't line up on the line of scrimmage correctly. And boy, that hurts because that was a great special teams play for Buffalo. Coach Babers says, hey, kick it again. I don't think you can do that again.
I dare you to do it again.
Well, yeah, he's saying, I don't think you can do it again. It was a great kick.
Certainly, Buffalo, you hate to waste one of those. Let's see what he can do this time. This time he angles it the other way, and Falcons end up coming out much better. And that is only a 27-yard kick. They'll put it on the 18. The one thing is it sure limits the return opportunities.
Well, and that's the concept. You know, if it's 0 return every time, you take a big part of someone's game away.
I really think that the days come to redo that punting statistic and not have it just be yardage, but have it be net yardage per
absolutely.
punt.
I
And
agree.
award the punting championship to the one with the best net yardage per punt.
Yep, there you go.
Problem is, if a guy breaks an 80-yard return, he breaks 5 tackles, why punish the punter? There goes Green. But clearly rewarding guys that outkick their coverage is not the best approach. 5 yards on that 1st down plunge. This has almost turned into a 3 yards in a cloud of dust game compared to the first half.
It's interesting how the pace of the game has changed so dramatically.
There goes Green again. His way out to the 32.
Well, I think Travis Green, we talked about him in the open. He's a guy that could help the defense a lot by running the football offensively, moving the chains, allowing them to get breaks on the sidelines, because he can do that.
Green got hammered there before he could get a head of steam going by Jake Stockman. And that's the end of the third quarter. Bowling Green holds Buffalo scoreless in the third. They score 10 to take a 2-point lead into the fourth. And they're putting the hex on the Bulls or something, ready for the fourth quarter. Let's go down to the sidelines to Kate Longenecker.
Thanks, Greg. Just an update on the Buffalo side. Brandon Menesalvez on the offensive line. He did go down on that last drive. He actually tweaked his ankle. They're working on him on the side. They're evaluating him. He is questionable. He will be replaced by Robert Blockman, the junior from Buffalo, guys.
That's critical. Those offensive linemen have been doing such a great job. There's a dangerous pass. But it went through everybody incomplete. I thought for a moment it might be deflected as they had the blitz on.
Yeah, and that's one way. You've asked me a number of times, Greg, how do you stop these spread offenses and what do you do? That's it, just what Buffalo did. You send somebody, and when you send somebody, people ask, well, why don't you do it all the time? Because you're leaving people uncovered when you do that, and you're taking a risk, but you make the quarterback throw before he wants to throw. That's the key to stopping the spread.
Get the element of surprise, maybe make a big play. That's all you need, one big play to stop a drive very often. Look at this. Knapke's got the whole field in front of him. Finally he decides, all right, it's been fun, but I'm going to cut my losses there, and he goes down at the 39.
This is how great this offense is. That's just an automatic call by Knapke. He sees there's nobody in the middle. There were no safeties anywhere, so it's an automatic for him to just take it right up the middle.
It's like the third time the Falcons have gotten the ball to a player in that area with no defender in the vicinity at all. There's a stop there made by Jarrett Franklin. He was the one that came in on that blitz earlier, a moment ago, and this time he stops Travis Green for no gain.
James Knapke is very smart. It was an automatic quarterback read. He reads that the safeties are totally gone, the receivers are running everybody off, and he just takes it. It's a quarterback draw.
2nd and 9 from the 39. Knapke fakes, pass out, and that was a little off the mark. Well, intended for Lewis.
Yeah,
that's Roger Lewis.
That's a little comeback pattern. That's on James. He missed him. They make that little peekaboo draw fake, and then they tried to hit a 7-5 comeback on the sideline, and he just missed him.
Roger Lewis doesn't even have a catch today. Came in as the Falcon leading receiver. Made up for it, going to the likes of Moore, Green, and Burbrake. Flag down. Another one of those dumps, and nobody anywhere near Travis Green. Look at him go. He is very, very tough to catch in the open field, and he is all the way to the goal line. I don't think he got over, but there was a flag thrown.
Yep.
But I just mentioned that how wide open these guys have been on several occasions. Well, there's another one.
The reason the screens are so effective.
Little formation.
Yeah, you get
5 players in the backfield. 5 yard.
Second one of those that has negated a big play.
Yeah, they need to get one more person up on the line of scrimmage. They don't have enough. But the reason the screens are so effective, it's a side slip screen, is because there's nobody left. Everybody's spread out. There's nobody left to defend the screen. But that hurts. Coach Babers is saying, listen, we got to get people up on the line of scrimmage that are supposed to be on the line of scrimmage.
Well, let's count. There's 11 on each side. There's a quarterback with a ball. You got 11 defenders. How do you run out of defenders?
Well, they're spread out all over the field, so when you do throw the screen, there's nobody there. It's just such wide open territory. You're tackling a guy who's a good runner like Travis Green in space.
That's tough to do. 3rd and 14 again, wide open space for Knapke. And he, this time, instead of going down, he burrowed his head and got the first down yardage. In fact, the Buffalo player is a lot bigger than him, is down on the ground.
Well, that's again an automatic read for him. He sees the safeties aren't there. The receivers have run everybody off, and that's an excellent call, Greg. He put his head down and got it.
Crawford being attended to now. First down Falcons. Let's take a break. 5 lost a collision with 6'2", 220, James Knapke. I think this got hit in the wrong place. He was a little groggy.
Well, that's
there.
The helmet to the helmet deal is what people are fearful of in football at any level today. So you always are a little trepidation about that when you see it. And it was accidental. I mean, it just happened.
He just was striving for the first down. which he got as a result.
Well, James Knapke's changing the play here. He saw something, he's changing the play.
Crossing, and just behind Roger Lewis, and that was almost, sometimes when you take a long time to get one interception, then all of a sudden you get two really quick, and Ross could have had that one as the ball was behind Lewis.
Well, what James saw, and he changed the play, and he was right when he changed it. There was no safety help, so he did a drive slant, and if he would have thrown that in front of the receiver, it was a Falcon touchdown. He made the right call. That's frustrating as a quarterback. He changed the play, made the right call, would have been a touchdown, but he didn't put the ball in there.
Be brilliant, but at the end of the day,
you got to execute. You got to execute the end of the play.
Pass out to Burbrink. He's surrounded and pushed out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Apparently not out of bounds. The clock continues to move. Talk about the comparisons with rugby. In rugby, if you go out of bounds, the ball's turned over to the other team. I wonder what would happen if they tried that in American football. Change the game. Lob to the end zone, and there's premature contact.
No, that wasn't interference, and I can tell you exactly why that wasn't interference today. People were complaining because they did hit together, but the Buffalo defensive back turned around, was playing the ball, looking for the ball, and that was incidental contact. Now watch this. It's a go route. They're on the outside. Now watch him get turned around. He's looking for the ball. They both have an opportunity to get it. If he wouldn't have looked for the ball, it would have been interference. It was a sidelining up by Burbrink. Matter of fact, Burbrink hooked an arm around him, quite honestly.
Yeah, you could almost have called it either way.
Yeah.
So here's Tate on for another field goal, which will be big. It will mean that Buffalo will need a touchdown, but it will be the fourth time that a Falcon drive deep in Buffalo territory resulted in a field goal, not a touchdown. We've got a whistle before
prior to the kick. Delay game. 5-yard penalty.
This will be significant because it will turn this from a 40 to a 45-yard attempt.
Well, that really shouldn't happen in this kind of special team situation. Everybody knows who the field goal team is. You know you're kicking it. It's not a fake. You line up and you go do it. You practice it every day. So Coach Babers will not be happy about that.
He really won't be happy if his kick misses. Knapke to hold. And it's blocked. Well, remember that. If Buffalo is able to come back, the delay of game penalty cost the Falcons a field goal that could have turned a 2-point game into a 5-point game. He just lined that right into Dalton Barksdale, number 93.
Well, the snap was low, and the kicker, really looking at that, had to wait until he could get the ball set because the snap was low.
Barksdale's brother Joseph is an offensive tackle for the St. Louis Rams. Equally impressive, he's a mathematics major.
Well, speaking of the Rams, I was watching a little exhibition football this year, and Alex Vera was playing for the Rams at tight end, a famous Falcon tight end, and he was doing pretty well in that particular exhibition game.
And off, and sprinting away from two tacklers and getting the first down out to the 45. Taylor really showing quick acceleration there. It looked like they had him lassoed at the line of scrimmage, and instead he got 15 yards.
Well, you could clip the film, this little play right here, and send it to the NFL, and that's what they look for in the next level on Sunday. He made two people miss. It wasn't blocked especially well, but he made two people miss at the point of attack and came up with a big play. That's what it takes to play on Sundays.
First and 10 at the 45. There goes Hughes. Again, he breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage and now invades Falcon territory to the 47, and all they need is a field goal as a result of that block.
Well, Hughes is a clever runner. He isn't as physical as Taylor.
Devin Campbell, with a Devin Hughes and a Devin Campbell on the squad. Both elusive. One's a receiver and one's a runner. And there goes Campbell again to the 45.
It's funny how people in football have been innovators. Sam Weiss, who is a great coach with the Cincinnati Bengals, and he worked for Bill Walsh and learned a lot of his offense from the great Bill Walsh. He really invented this little peekaboo draw, and both teams have been running it, and that was, 25 years ago, 30
He also
years ago.
invented that hurry-up offense that they legislated against.
You know what he did? It was called a sugar huddle, and they lined up right on the line of scrimmage. It was a very cool thing.
This is an outgrowth of that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, it's the same concept. You're exactly right.
Sneak for a couple of yards, first down. And the drive continues.
Well, this is the type of drive that Coach Quinn with Buffalo wants. He wants to eat clock, use his big offensive line, use his great running game, and then when the Falcons load the box up, he'll let Licata throw the ball.
Come to think of it, they tried to legislate against this offense.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time someone comes up with a good idea, someone tries to legislate against it. First and 10 from the 43. This game for first place in the MAC East looks like it's going right down to the wire. Taylor, they got him at the line of scrimmage, but he got away again. And he's down to the 26-yard line before he's tossed out.
You will not believe how he makes this first guy miss. There is nothing there. Watch this. Here he comes. Boom, right there.
Gabe Martin, a pretty tough guy to shake off.
Wow, that's a great run. I mean, that is just flat out a great run.
I.J. Barima finally on the stop.
That's really what the great backs do. You cannot block everybody on the running plays. Ideally when they draw it up on the board, you show everybody block, but it doesn't go that way. And you must make people miss at the point of attack.
First and 10 from the 24. Going for it. The passes.
It bounced.
Caught, but it landed in his arms in one hop there.
Yeah.
So the catch, or the apparent catch, by Devin Hughes. There, the receiver, Devin.
Yep.
Is negated.
Well, it's a fade. This is a fade comeback.
I don't know.
Yeah, it bounced. Really, that other angle you'll see, it did bounce, but it's a fade comeback. You run the fade, make them think fade, and then you come back. It's a great route, but Joe threw it not the way he wanted to. It was wide open.
From that angle, it looked like at least it should have been caught.
Yeah. Oh well, it did. He couldn't get back to it fast enough.
Second and 10. Up the middle. Zipped right into the arms of his receiver Martinez, and that will move the chains. In Buffalo, we saw at the start that they've been 80% conversion in the red zone, and they're in the red zone again.
Great throw by Licata. Watch him step into this throw. Boom! It's a fastball. He knows he's got to put a lot on it because there are a lot of orange jerseys around his receiver. Great throw by Licata.
Very agile on his feet. Sets his feet well, but he's moving. Hand off. And the Falcon defense is there. Number 99 stops number 1. Brian Baird on the tackle, 6'4", 238-pound defensive end.
This is exactly the drive that Coach Quinn wants. You're eating up clock. You're down to 9:08 on the clock. You're eating clock. You're keeping the Falcon tremendous offense on the bench. You're controlling the ball here, controlling the time of possession. It's exactly, you couldn't write it a better script for this offensive drive.
We go back to that last drive, the blocked field goal and the penalty that negated that screen pass that got him down to the 5-yard line.
That was huge.
Now Buffalo can take the lead again. There goes Taylor, daylight, and he'll get in again untouched. And again he points to the sky, almost like a replay of that touchdown in the first half.
Well,
and he got the block right there at the end to shield off the one guy who might have had a shot at him.
Our director, Tad Fouts, said he would score again and point again to the sky, and he did. He's a special back. Watch this. It's a tray. He's following one of the big guys up inside. It becomes an outside zone. He reads it, kicks it outside, and there you go. He's remembering his friend.
Buffalo up 34-30. Chance to make it 35. And they do. So the Falcons, well, they got plenty of time with their offense, but they've got to score another touchdown to win this football game. (35-30), Buffalo leading by 5. Drive, remarkably efficient.
Well, coach is writing down. He said that. Okay, that's how we want to do the drive. We want to eat clock, slam the football, and keep that Falcon offense on the bench. He's writing it down. He said, yeah, that's how you do it.
Bears repeating. Since Jeff Quinn came in, Buffalo is the bottom of the MAC. Every year they incrementally improved to the point where last year they were 8-5. They made a bowl game. That's exactly what the Falcons did under Dave Clawson the year before. They won the MAC championship. Buffalo is a team, I think, that could, even though they were only picked 4th, could legitimately aspire to a MAC championship, especially if they happen to win today's game. Vote today for BCSN's Battle of the High School Marching Bands contest. 7 bands are competing for the 2014 title and $1,000. Visit bcsn.tv. Voting ends October 12th.
You know, back to your point, I think it was such a strong point, Greg, about the penalty. What do penalties mean to you in a football game? You took away that side slip screen that the Falcons ran so well, and again, the whole game paradigm changes again. That was a huge penalty.
It was another time where they would have had to settle for a field goal instead of a touchdown, and then they didn't even get the field goal. And now they're down by 5. Draw play to Green. Have a feeling they're not through offensively, though, in this game. Lester drags him out of bounds with help from Tedroy Lynch, number 92. Another interesting thing is we're wondering, should they go for 2 earlier or 1? And they went for the 1, and now if they had gone for 2 and missed, 6 would only tie, but now 6 would win it for them. Here is the ball just thrown into the ground. And he had a receiver in the vicinity anyway. But
Now
when
you want to talk about intentional, not, you know, when you don't even make the attempt to complete the pass, even though the receiver was in the area. Now that one I'll agree with you on. That really is. That's a different horse of a different color right there.
And he does it again.
As is that one.
Now, was there a receiver in the area that time?
Well, they were
a couple of linemen around.
They were going to run a middle screen, and there supposedly was a back there, but you could make a strong case for your intentional grounding. Yeah.
You take intentional grounding out of the game, and you.
Yeah. Well, watch this now. All right, where's 8? Is he really trying to throw him the ball? Absolutely not. That really should be intentional grounding.
Totally against the whole principle of football to allow that. Napke, and they surround him, and the potent Falcon offense goes nowhere. 2 basically grounded balls, and the quarterback getting flushed out of the pocket and stopped for a 3-yard gain, and it's 3 and out.
Well, James had 2 throwaways literally on that series. The plays were covered, and he smartly threw it away, but he also got his knee or ankle tweaked there, I think, when they took him down.
If you constantly allow teams to avoid big losses, just by spiking the ball, like you're changing the whole paradigm of the sport.
Well, it's not fair to the defense.
It really isn't.
You're not giving them a fair opportunity.
Soaring punt by Davidson. And fair catch by Martinez at the 21. And the Falcons, hopefully, Napke is all right. They really need him for this stretch drive. Martinez there. You mentioned he had a career game last week with 8 receptions. They already had 3 really good receivers, and now they have the emergence of a 4th major target. He was a quarterback in high school. About his stats in the second half, not nearly as impressive as his first half stats, but he sure got the job done on that last drive.
Well, those are a little misleading because they really put the ball in the hands of Anthony Taylor and said, hey, win the ball game. And I think that's a smart move.
There he goes again, breaking through, and dragged down at the 47-yard line by Jernard Turner, and another step, and he was gone.
Well, we talked about it all day long. This is an outside zone, and he cuts it back inside. Great speed, great strength. I mean, really, this young man puts on, I got him listed at 207. He runs bigger than that, but if you walk him up to 218, somewhere in that area, 220, he could play on Sundays. This guy's a special guy.
Buffalo always seems to come up with good running backs. James Starks, Bernard Oliver, Anthony Taylor, and of course, O.J. Simpson. Hand off around the left end. Taylor again.
Well, he just ran through a tackle there, and it was Gabe Martin. And, you know, Gabe's made some great defensive plays today for the Falcons, and he's a good tackler. And Anthony Taylor just ran through his tackle.
A good power speed combination.
Yes, he is. And that means he can run the inside zone between the tackles, and he can run the outside zone. Most backs don't do that. They either run inside or they run outside, and he can do both.
Entering the final quarter, we've got 113 yards. And added significantly to that.
Anthony Taylor's doing this. I mean, the big guys up front for Buffalo, I want to tell you what, you get a look at some of them there. They have really done the job. This is a tremendous offensive line. They come off the ball in unison. They block for Taylor very, very well. This is, you get a look at them right across the board. 67, 71, 74, 70, the tight end 89. These guys are terrific.
And they're experienced, which is another big factor. Trying to turn the corner, and Campbell not able to do it back at the 39. With all that experience in such key positions, an excellent quarterback, a great runner in that line, you almost get the sense that this game is going to have championship implications. What happens in the next 5.5 minutes here?
Yeah, Coach Quinn's come in with a great game plan today. Time of possession, limit the number of snaps that the Falcons get, and a sledgehammer running game with an accurate passing quarterback when you need to throw, and it's been a great game plan.
2nd and 13. Falcons needed that big play on first down. Okada, the fade, and getting
Great
a hand
play
up to knock it down. Will Watson.
Will did a great job that time, and the reason he did it so well, that fade that Buffalo's thrown so well, was the same one. You get it up top, up high, thrown well. See him get his head turned around? He had his head turned around. He could see the ball. He wasn't up in front of the face guarding the receiver and swatted it away. That's a great play.
And he was very conscious to avoid
on that
an
fade.
Interference call.
On that fade, you got to get your head turned around so you can locate the ball and play the ball.
He turned a fumble recovery 37 yards for a touchdown last year at Eastern Michigan. His first career touchdown, Watson did. 3rd and 13. They go back to their bread and butter man, and Taylor makes it happen again.
Well, you know, Bowling Green thought they were going to pass. Buffalo was going to pass. Buffalo crossed them up with a great call. And Anthony Taylor just showing you how many ways that he can beat you. He can beat you inside. He can beat you outside.
If Bowling Green had made that field goal that got blocked, they could still be in a position where Buffalo would have to convert to make it a 2-possession game. But here, all they got to do is go in to accomplish that. With so little time remaining, that would be a big factor. Here
Great
goes
cut.
Taylor. And once again, he's very, very good at maneuvering at the line of scrimmage to find whatever opening may exist.
Yeah, he's running an inside zone, and he's got that little side step. It's kind of like that Barry Sanders hop that Barry Sanders used to have. He can sidestep the first attack tackler, make him miss, and get into the second level. And that's just a special back. You know, I remember sitting up in the box when we said Julian Edelman, who played for Kent State, could play on Sundays, and you know, Edelman's playing pretty well for the Patriots. This kid could play on Sundays. He really could.
He's got 59 yards just on this drive.
Yeah.
They're going to him practically every play now.
He's special running back.
Falcons know where the ball's going, but they haven't been able to negate anything. Taylor again breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage and gets down to the 13-yard line.
And they're doing it exactly the way that Coach Quinn wants them to do. There's 3:40 left on the clock. The clock is running. You know, they're slamming it away outside zone behind the big beef eaters. What I like about Taylor, some of those guys, when they run the outside zone, they don't know when to square the shoulders up and get inside. He does. He doesn't string it out too far. He's usually going north-south.
So Bowling Green calls a timeout on a critical 3rd and 1 situation. And let's take a break. The game could be on the line when we come back. The Falcons done well stopping it down there, though. And we're back talking about the strategy. At 3rd and 1, with that offensive line, a lot of Buffalo fans got to be happy right now, but with that offensive line, you have to feel they're saying we're taking 2 shots at this.
Well, you know, the way that your guys have played, if I was coach, and he does a great job, Quinn, I'm going twice, and I'm saying I'm getting it and try to win this game right here.
They hope to avert having to make that decision on 3rd down. Taylor, they're not going to get it. And the one thing that might make you think twice about it is the Falcons have been more effective in any other situation on 3rd or 4th and 1 as they were on that opening goal line.
What happens is when you get down near the goal line, what the Falcons are doing is they're blitzing in every gap. You see how everybody's going in a gap? They're bringing more people than there are to block.
Gabe Martin on the tackle. And then again, hark back to the Indiana game. Yeah, they gave up 42 points. Same thing last week against UMass. They won both those games with the defense making huge plays at critical times. And here they've got another chance to do it. If they were to come up with a stop now, or even if they limit Buffalo to a field goal, they give themselves a chance to win the ball game. Take another look at how important this game is in the MAC standings. Buffalo, Bowling Green, and Ohio came in tied for first. Ohio was losing to Central 14-3 at half in the last score we saw. That would make this game for first place in the MAC East. Bowling Green plays Ohio next week. If Bowling Green could win today and beat Ohio, they would have a real leg up in the MAC race. On the other hand, Buffalo, the way their team has been developing, and they've got all these veterans in key positions, they could be a championship football team, especially if they win this game.
They're a very, very solid club, no question about that.
Patrick Clark will kick to try to make it an 8-point game. Puts it up, and no good. So both teams have missed a critical field goal in the 4th quarter, and now the Falcon stock just rose very, very much over what it had been just a couple of minutes ago.
Well, how important is the kicking game? It's real important to win football games.
Now one score will do it. Let's take a look at how we got to this moment. The Falcons, this touchdown pass there, Ronnie Moore going over. This blocked field goal really seemed to put the Falcons in trouble, as at the time they had a 2-point lead, they couldn't stretch it to 5. This interception, the first of the season for Buffalo, sets them up for this score by Anthony Taylor. This one would have made it an 8-point game, but it got caught in the crosswind, went wide. The defense with a big 4th down play, and now all of a sudden, a moment ago you're maybe sensing defeat if you're a Falcon fan, now you're sensing victory.
Well, it's just a great game. 2 very, very good football teams with contrasting styles going at it.
Downfield for Ronnie Moore. Caught! He made a great move, beat a man. It's a race. He got funneled back to the middle of the field by Whitney Sherry that allowed the teammates to catch up to him. Otherwise, Ronnie Moore was gone. Nonetheless, a huge play.
Deep turnout to Ronnie Moore. It's thrown before the break. That's why this offense is so tough to defend. No safety help. You make one guy miss, and you're off and running.
Fred Coppett, and he gets run out. Now, an interesting thing here, Bowling Green's offense is geared to the quick strike, but right now you might not want a quick strike. You want the touchdown, but you'd like to not give Buffalo that much opportunity to come back and score again.
Yeah, I get that concept, but I just don't think they're made up that way. I just think it's an attack offense, and they're saying that they're going to score as many times as they have to score.
On this play will take it. Again, that slip screen has them wide open. They may score on this play. Moore pushed out of bounds at the 5, and this time they did not have an illegal formation.
Yeah, it's a great play, great screen. The screens have been there all day. They haven't run that many of them, but the ones they have run, for the most part, have been open. And people ask, well, why are these plays such big plays? Again, because Bowling Green has spread out the Buffalo defense. There's no safety help. So when you beat one man, you're running for 30 yards.
1st and goal from the 4. Coppett wants it now, and he pulls his way over for the score, and the Falcons lead. And now I think it's time to go for 2. With 2:19 to play.
Just a little pitch, toss, pitch sweep, short side. Coppett makes a good effort to stretch the ball across the goal line.
If they don't go for 2 here, I'll be very surprised. Now there's basically a sheet that you can refer to in any conceivable situation to tell you what the odds are.
They have them all written up in advance before the ball game in every possible conceivable scenario.
Touchdown is under further review.
They're going to review to make sure that he got in. They're definitely going to go for it. It makes no sense to kick an extra point to make it a 2-point lead instead of 1 at this stage. Let's look and see if he got in.
All right. Short side sweep, pulling a couple of the big beef eaters, turn up inside. Coppett's hit. He's in.
Got to say touchdown.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't think his knee didn't even hit because he was on his back.
Yep. Great camera angle, gang. He's in. Touchdown. And the official's right there on it, right in front of him.
And again, now if by some quirk this was overruled, again, it would show that thing about it has to be definitive is out the window.
Yeah.
There's no way. You might say that I don't see how you can say that he didn't make it, but if you are to say that, it wouldn't be because of any kind of definitive proof.
Yeah, it's a touchdown. Watch it again. Short side sweep.
Yep.
There you go.
Faith in the concept.
System
justified.
works. System works. Short side sweep, turn in, good effort. Good block there. Good block. And touchdown.
That's the kind of thing you might as well challenge it at this stage of the game.
Sure, absolutely.
This is really big. If they get this conversion, then Buffalo will need a field goal to tie the game instead of to win the game.
Well, if I was Buffalo, I'd sell out on a blitz here, and I'd bring the house plus the trailer and the pickup truck. I mean, you've got to destroy the rhythm of Kanapke. You can't let him just stand back there and look. I mean, he's too good. Come get him. Bring everybody.
Throw everything but the kitchen sink and throw him in the sink too. Battle for the ball. Real dogfight in the end zone and broken up by Boise Ross. And Buffalo, even though they're down, they have renewed hope here.
It was a fade, but what the Buffalo defender did is he got his head turned around and he was playing the ball. And what people forget is the DB has the same right to the football when it's in the air as the offensive receiver. People tend to forget that sometimes. And as long as you get your head turned around and you're going for the ball, they're not going to call interference.
Well, that was an immense play there for Buffalo because now all they have to do is get in field goal range to win this. When Buffalo played Bowling Green, the last time Buffalo won here, as we see the drive, 45 seconds to go 80 yards. That's a typical Falcon drive. Bowling Green was down by 2, and they missed a very makeable field goal that could have won the game for them in the final seconds. They lost 28-26. We could have a similar scenario here going the other way.
Well, you see Coach Babers on the sideline. I love his confidence. He's got that. He's upbeat. He's positive. You can just sense that he has such confidence.
He looks like he's enjoying himself. He's probably saying right now, this is a great football game.
And that's really cool that he has that attitude. He's a brilliant offensive coordinator, play caller, quarterback coach. What he's running here at Bowling Green is very esoteric. It's very special.
He was smiling when he was down 8 at halftime. Fielded at the 10. All the kicks going the other way. We're getting to the end zone. Here we go. Campbell breaking it past midfield, and that is huge for Buffalo. And now Buffalo is the kind of team where I think clock management is going to be something they're going to have uppermost in their minds. They do not want to score too early and give this Falcon defense a late chance.
This is a great return, middle return, then he breaks it outside. Nice job. If the Falcons do lose this ball game, they're going to look back at special teams and say, oh boy, the blocked field goal, this return, and then the penalty on the slip screen that cost them a huge play.
A couple of first downs would get them to at least the edge of field goal range, but they're not going to get much there. Campbell, though, keeps driving, got at least a couple of yards out of it. Buffalo with all 3 of their timeouts remaining.
Well, there might be something wrong with Taylor. He tried to go into the game, and I saw them hold him back on the sideline. And, boy, you'd think you'd want – there he is. You'd think you'd want him in the game. So,
he got him up in the air. That was very fortunate for Devin Hughes that he didn't get drilled by Paul Sen, but he was able to land before he absorbed the hit. If he'd have gotten him in midair, he might have coughed up that football.
Well, credit the Falcons. They made a play, but if Taylor can't go here in these next couple of plays, then on offense you got to realize who your next go-to guy is to try and win the ball game, and that's Licata. So you got to put the ball in his hands and hope that he can make a play for you.
They're on the 46. If they get 20 more yards, it would be a 43-yard kick. In this win, that, as we saw in Buffalo's last field goal attempt, is anything but a sure thing.
Yeah, Taylor's he's not coming in. Taylor's out, so that's, he's played a great game. He must have tweaked something. He's out.
Must have really tweaked it to be out in this situation.
But you really have to realize now that you've got to put the ball in Licata's hands and have him make a play, because he's your next guy. He's your go-to guy.
3rd and 8. They get some pressure on him. The pass out, overthrown as he was going for Willoughby, and now the Falcons are one stop away from winning this football game, apparently.
Well, credit the Falcons. They blitzed. They hurried Licata a little bit, and that was a deep turnout route, and he had him open. He just didn't have the time to set his feet and follow through because he was open.
I feel like it's 2008 again. Buffalo was driving. The Falcons were trying to hold them off. Let's see if there's a different result than we had that night.
I think the Falcons will bring pressure again. You want to pressure Licata. Don't let him stand back there.
They didn't the last time, and it helped disrupt the throw. This time he has time, but it's knocked down. It doesn't matter whether it was intercepted. The ball turned over. He was hit just as he was trying to throw. And you see there, Nigel Ballou making the big play, and they loft him up.
Yeah, great play by the Falcon defense. Great stand. I think Joe Licata, when he looks back at this tape, he's done a great job today. He could have run for the first down here. He had wide open territory. He could have taken off and run for it, but he tried to squeeze it in. And now Falcon.
He was bodied as he tried to throw. Had he taken off with it, he would have been able to avoid that contact.
Yeah, and now Falcon fast must be Falcon slow.
Yeah.
There's no Falcon. There's Coach Babers. He's saying, okay, this is one time we can go Falcon slow. We're going to slow it down. We're going to eat the 128 on the clock and get out of here with a huge win over a good football team.
We don't need any more points.
It's Falcon slow now.
They'd like one more first down. That would really salt it. Buffalo still has 2 timeouts. Flag thrown. They stop Travis Green just a couple of yards.
Personal foul. Loaded ahead. Defense number 10.
Oh, that was
first down.
An awful penalty to take at this point for Buffalo. Maybe out of frustration, but that really diminishes Buffalo's fading hopes even further.
Buffalo.
Boy, and talk about a teachable moment in a game. I mean, you can't lose your head and do something that hurts your team like that, and that's a real teachable moment.
A bitter teachable moment.
Yeah.
They still have 2 timeouts. First down would still be required to allow them to run out the clock so that Buffalo could do nothing about it. And I think they're having an issue with the clock right now.
Buffalo had requested, after the last play, please reset the game clock to 1 minute 20 seconds.
But now they've given up a first down and they're down to 1 timeout. That was really not an intelligent play to make there, that personal foul.
No, hurt your team, and you never want to do that. What you've seen today is 2 very good football teams with contrasting styles that are going to go on and be good football teams the rest of the year. Buffalo's a very, very solid club. Great coach, good team, really good team.
I have a really strong sense that people are going to look back on this game at the end of the year and say it was a real major factor in the divisional race.
And the Falcon offense is what it is. I mean, it's tough to defend.
Victory tonight, the Falcons would be in a position where if they could knock off Ohio next week on the road, they'd really have their fate in their own hands. Look at Green breaking away, and that will do it. They've got the first down, and short of something really crazy happening, the Bowling Green Falcons are going to win this football game. Buffalo taking their final timeout. It's first down again. And after one play, this is the last time they can stop the clock.
Well, Travis Green was giving the signal to his coach, hurry up with the play. And Coach Babers, I think, is going, no, I don't think it's Falcon fast. Now, he was going, hurry up, let's get it in there. He wanted to score, but
well, it's probably been drilled into him from day one.
Yeah.
It's force of habit at this stage, I would say. But a great win for the Falcons, a seesaw game. What an outstanding football game it was. One moment it looked like the Falcons had the upper hand. The next moment it looked like Buffalo. Late in the fourth quarter, it looked pretty bleak for the Falcons, but their defense is becoming their team style. Their offense is carrying the load, but their defense is making big plays when they have to. That 3rd and 1 stop, and then the missed field goal is what allowed the Falcons to come back and have a chance to win this game, and now they are going to win it. Buffalo cannot stop the clock. It's only 2nd down and anything short of Joe Pisarcik, and Bowling Green has won this game.
Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, my.
And after a lot of questions, when the Falcons lost their opener to Western Kentucky, they were blown out of that game. Many people felt that they would win that. The way Wisconsin handled them. All of a sudden, and I think there were even some people who were thinking, boy, what have we gotten ourselves into with this new system? Now there's a lot of believers in it, I think.
Well, it's a great system. I mean, offensively, they're going to score points on everybody. I thought Buffalo had the perfect plan to disrupt Falcon fast, and that is to dominate the time of possession, which they did. They slammed the football. They had a great running effort by Taylor. It was the right plan, but it came down to it. They still came up a point short.
Buffalo really threw the gauntlet down with that 10-minute boss drive at the start of the game. It said just what you indicated, that they had the approach to handle the Falcon fast system, and they had the ability to make it work, but the Falcons persevered. Can't say enough about their defense. It once again came up with the pivotal play that allowed their team to win. And talk about unsung heroes on this football team.
Yeah, and maybe the defense is understanding that maybe they're not going to be great statistically, I mean, they've been a rough statistic, but maybe they're understanding that maybe we don't have to be great statistically, but if we can make appropriate stops at key times, like they did today, gave Martin's play and a couple other 3-and-outs and good stops on the goal line, as good as the offense is, well, they'll be okay, and maybe they're starting to figure that out.
They got a lot of veterans who've been on championship teams. You were saying they should go for the 2 downs on the 3rd and 1.
Yeah.
They eschewed that, and looking back on it, I guess a lot of people might question that.
I never want to put the game in the hands of kickers. I want to take my stars and try to win the ball game. You knew that Bowling Green would have the ability to move the football. Coach Babers, I'm so impressed with his offense, with his style, his demeanor. Everything about him says confidence and championship-type behavior.
They're looking like winners again, that's for sure. A great game and a great win. That will do it for Kate Longenecker, Tom Cole, and our crew. Greg Franke saying so long. The Bowling Green Falcons defeat the Buffalo Bulls on homecoming 36-35. You're watching BCSN, seen exclusively on the Buckeye Cable System. So long, everyone.